GM, we do a little, fam. Our Season 3 mint is live, and we need your support to keep the IRL podcast vibes going. We have a $5 based edition minting through Zora's platform on the base chain until the end of the season on October 31st. Each $5 based edition allows you to burn one for an art piece based off the conversations we've had with our guest. 12 based editions are needed to collect a full set. We also have 15 premium editions priced at $1 each. Each premium NFT owner is invited to one of our We Do a Little dinners. The next dinner will be at Art Basel, Miami in December 2023, and we'll have dinners in LA and New York in early 2024. Premium owners also receive all 12 art claims via airdrop and all future base NFTs. We'll be giving away one premium edition to a YouTube subscriber at the end of the season, so please subscribe and stay tuned. Links to mint both the base and premium NFT, as well as an article explaining all of our plans for Season 3 are in the show notes below. And without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode. In our 6th episode of Season 3, we are joined by Eric Muddawg Sanders. Muddawg is a retired professional Call of Duty player who is the current director of talent for one of the biggest eSport organizations in the world, 100 Thieves. We dive into Eric's love of professional gaming, how he and 100 Thieves look at creator economics, Web3 gaming shortcomings, his crypto rabbit hole journey, and so much more. As always, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Andy, D's, and guests may own NFTs discussed.
This is Andy.
Yeah, I'm Thieves.
GM, we're back with We Do a Little. We have a very special episode here today. We are with Muddawg. He is the head of talent at 100 Thieves. Muddawg, met you on Twitter, talking shit probably, coming onto Spaces, and I had been following you for a while, and I don't think had any idea who I was until you got in the Web3 space.
Yeah, but now you're an icon now.
It's been funny just because I've been a big fan of gaming for my whole life, and watching Nadeshot come up and start 100 Thieves and watching you and all that has just been like a fun thing I've done as a hobby, and then it's come full circle, and now I get to have you on the pod and we're good friends. So thank you for coming today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think it's one of the cool things about gaming is it lets you meet like a lot of people from different industries, and it is like a cool unifying thing, sort of like how music was and still is. But yeah, it's been great to meet people in the community.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a cultural thing where, like, especially growing up, like, you meet someone else who's really into COD or whatever, and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, like, we got to play COD. It's like, it was very, very much so, like, something that made you friends with someone, like, immediately.
Yeah, it's cool to see it become less taboo now. Like, growing up when I was competing, I didn't even tell people I, like, traveled to play video games, and now it's, like, obviously a much more widely accepted thing, and the generation below us loves games even more than we do. So
yeah, I remember there was, like, one kid a grade below me in high school who was, like, good enough at COD that I think he was, like, sponsored by Monster or something. I don't remember what team he was on. His name was Nick. He was this, like, pretty jacked ginger kid. You probably knew him at some point, honestly. I wonder what he's up to. But he was, like, the one kid in school who was, like, good at COD, and everyone just, like, knew him as, like, the kid who's good at COD. And it was very much, like, his identity for a while. I feel like now it's just, like, life.
Sometimes, but, yeah, now it's probably more default.
Growing up, what game was it that got you just, like, completely hooked on competitive gaming?
So it was Halo 2. The first thing, I was playing Team Snipers, and just the fact that had, like, a ranked playlist, like, as soon as I cared about getting better at Team Snipers, that was, like, the first funnel into it. And then I grew up watching Halo 2 on USA Network when it was, like, really, really early days.
Good old days. Carbon and
which,
Final
like,
Boss.
it was wild. So 2 weekends ago, we were at Shabby's wedding, who did, like, Ultimate Gaming House for Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And we were just, like, joking how, like, things have really come full circle then because, I mean, he was probably doing that for pennies back then. So it's pretty wild to see where things are.
The Ultimate Gaming House was sick. That was, like, the gamers version of Pimp My Ride.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, if instead of you didn't get the car pimped out, you got the room pimped out.
Yep.
And that was...
Oh, it was sick. It was like the dream.
Yeah, and they always had the fucking fridge full of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, the ending. Like,
I remember thinking those setups were so cool and so godlike.
Oh, yeah. I'd be salivating. I'd be taking notes. I'm like, all right.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I need this poster.
If I could ever make it. So how old were you when you got hooked to Halo 2?
Let's see. I was probably, like, 15 or something then. 14. Like, pretty young back then.
Like,
what year did Halo 2 come out? Because Halo 3 was 2000.
Halo 3 came out, I think, 07.
Yeah, 2007. Because it was
Halo
like,
2
I remember
probably...
it was his birthday when it came out.
Oh, wow.
I remember where I was when Halo 3 came out.
I mean, I remember where I was.
It's probably like 04, I think.
USA.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Halo 2 for the first
Yeah, I remember
time.
that.
It's like 2006, and I was watching it, and I was like, "Holy shit! People are playing a game for like money, and they're on TV. Holy shit! Like, these people are from Ohio.
Yeah.
like the ogres.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
And I'm just like, that's 2 hours away. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Fucking
and then like
ogres.
Walshy's from Michigan, and then you just look around and you're like, maybe I should be doing this.
Yeah, seriously.
And then I got hooked. I got hooked on COD 4. I mean, I played Halo 2.
Yeah.
I was really bad at it. Halo 3, I took seriously, got to 50, but couldn't get to 50 in the MLG playlist. And then Call of Duty 4 was like where the light went off, and then I was decent enough at game battles, but I never could travel.
Well, I mean, once you get that little competitive itch, like, I feel like so many people get hooked on it, whether it's like you're at the level of like traveling to computer to even just game battles. Like, now to this day, I love like grabbing 3 of my friends and just like competing in something in a game for fun.
Growing up, did you have friends at your school that you knew in person who could play at the level that you could, or did you have to make new friends online early on?
No, my group was like a bunch of people I met basically through like local tournaments out there and would like meet at MLG events. I had like a lot of friends at my high school that I would play with, but not at the level. So
that was a problem I ran into, where like all my friends I wanted to play with, like we couldn't. It was like I'm host and on shitty internet.
Well, that's one of like the biggest issues now is skill-based matchmaking is good for like 99% of people, but for me to play with any of like my real life friends, and I'm not even close to like the pro level now. Like I'm 31, I'm old as hell, but it's like I can't play with like a normal friend because it just pulls like our MMR of people in.
Yeah.
Which I get, you don't want to ruin games for other people, but I wish I could play with like more casual friends.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you don't want to make new accounts like every time a friend.
I made a new account. I got shadow banned because people report you. I literally made a new account to try to help rake Jake the Degen.
Yeah.
So I love playing COD with him and Zayd. And literally from the bronze rank to gold, like so many people just assume you're cheating. So I was like world starring them. They mass report you. You get shadow banned. So then you only match either cheaters or other like gods on a Smurf account. So I was like scrimming like 2-on-2. It was like me, 2 hackers, another kid with a Smurf versus the same thing. I was like, what am I doing here? And it was
It's over. They got you in purgatory.
Yeah, so I got to use my main now, unfortunately. They caught me.
That's tough.
That's a pain in the ass.
But what are you going to do?
That was my least favorite thing. It was like, fuck, I gotta like meet new people who are my friends. 'Cause my friends.
Yeah, see, I had the other problem where I was like pretty good, but not that good, and 2 of my friends were like really good at Halo, and so they were the ones like I would just go and watch them play, and like I could play with them and have fun, but like it wasn't really close, and so I was on the other side of it. But
that's how I
it's
feel
tough.
now, being around like my current pro players that I oversee. They're just so damn good at the game, and shooting against them is a different game.
I mean, watching pros now play COD, I cannot keep up at all.
Yeah, pros at any game, like people don't realize how good the pro level gamers are, even above like the next tier. So it's pretty
I think that's one of the big things that like people don't realize is like the step between being even one of the like 100 best players at a video game and then being like one of the 10 best players at a video game is probably more than like the 100th best and like the 5,000th best or whatever.
Even now,
like,
the gap between like me as an ex-pro to like the current pros is like arguably as big as the gap from like a casual to me.
Yeah.
Like it's very exponential.
yeah, there's just like there's those few things that are almost like intangible to a lot of people, or it's just like these really, really small reactions or game knowledge.
A lot of it's
like,
not. It's the knowledge stuff. Like everyone shoots straight at the highest level, and like we have 4 players, we have 2 coaches, we have like a data analyst that's like studying metrics of what's going on, and like they're not playing the game, they're practicing it, and it's like they have a routine. They're playing 7 days a week. They have like scrim blocks, lunch, nutritionists. Like it's very, very professional now. So when people like get a peek behind the curtain and see like how detailed these guys are like taking it and putting time into it, it definitely lets people look at it a little differently.
So I want to talk about that a little bit more. Like I remember so for a little bit more context, I basically once I went to college stopped, and probably even a few years before that, basically stopped playing shooters and just started playing League of Legends. I got like really into League of Legends. I was never good. D's was good. I was always shit. But that was like what I would follow as far as like the competitive scene and all of that. And I feel like one of the things that was really interesting to see was there was like this moment in time kind of where they were like, you know what? We should all like treat this more seriously and like take care of our bodies. Like you mentioned nutritionists. I feel like there was this point in time where all the league players like had personal trainers and like started to do all of that. What was that kind of transition like as someone who was kind of on the inside of that? Was it as like a kind of all of a, like to me it felt very all of a sudden, where it was just like all of a sudden everyone's doing this now? What was it like?
Yeah, I think it was much more gradual, like seeing it, because like starting as a player when I played, it was like very, very early on, like 2015, and then I spent like 4 years at Activision helping build the league before it became franchising. But it was the first time, because competitive COD existed for like 10 years before Activision paid attention to it, and it was like us on Game Battles just like doing things ourselves, and then we got publisher investment, and that's where prize pool and sponsor money came from. But a lot of that just came over time as more money came in and more resources were behind it to allow people to do those things. But also like proof of concept of seeing other teams and players, like if you're in better shape and like work, like getting better sleep, like your performance actually reflects beyond that. So there was like a lot of little shifts that happened over time for sure. But I could see why it seemed like it's immediate overnight. Even like last year was the first time we got like sports psychologists to work with the guys, and like we had some of our guys like the best players in the world and won before, and they're kind of in a slump, and one of our players worked with a sports psychologist for like 3 months, and they ended up winning back-to-back and won the Worlds after. And he said like he attributed a lot of his success to him. So as a GM at the time, it was like I had to take that into account differently, but I'd never heard a player say like it was that impactful before. So a lot of it's like because it's so new, and like sort of like what we were talking about before, that we're all winging this every day, that figuring out like what works and what doesn't, things like that, has been an interesting part of building the gaming landscape. Yeah,
that's really cool.
What does a day in the life right now look like for you?
So after the last season for COD, I switched to running. I'm the head of talent now, so I still do stuff with COD eSports. I don't really have like a normal day-to-day, but going to the office, have like random meetings on the business side. I'll like work with the COD guys on some random things for their day, working with our current talent influencers and like scouting new ones and stuff. But I very much am like a jack of all trades at 100 Thieves. So like I'll figure out how some of our creators are working with like the energy drink we have, or we have like a keyboard brand that we work with. So it's like figuring out how we can attach these different pieces of like the 100 Thieves universe and like work authentically with our creators and players to like market things, but in a way that makes sense.
How did the drink come up? I still haven't tried it.
I can get you some. I'm like no shill. I'm actually addicted to it. I've been drinking for like a year.
I know
and a
that's
half.
what you were saying when you came here.
I said it off camera. Like it's. I used to drink Red Bull vodkas all the time, and it's like my go-to
I love a Red Bull
vodka drink. So this like it's more flavored, less like carbonated. It doesn't taste like gasoline as much. This just came up because like a lot of what Nate really wants to do is just like give the fans what they want before they know they want it. I don't know, it's like the third time you've heard me say it, but it's like what we built the company around, and that to him was just like energy drinks. Like gamers are drinking it nonstop, but there's nothing that like actually tastes good. Or it was like in the G Fuel world where it was like more of like a supplement than like I want to just go get a drink type of thing. So it seems like very simple and basic in hindsight now, but we hired a guy. His name's Sam Keen, awesome dude. He was at Red Bull for like 15 years, so he's been with us for like almost 2 years now, helping like spin up the drink and build it. So each flavor we've had, we just launched our 4th flavor, but we've had like 10, 15 different variations of each of them. Like we've had all of our players testing it, so it's been like a little passion project that became a lot bigger than we thought it would.
What's your favorite flavor?
The new one, the blue juvie. It's
blue.
so...
Is it like blue raspberry?
Yeah, it's blue raspberry,
Okay.
but
No,
it's
good.
much less of like the blue raspberry part and more of like, think of like a cotton candy side to it. It's like a sweeter blue.
Okay.
It's kind of like, have you ever had anything that's like rocket ship popsicle flavored of that blue? It's sort of like that.
I got you.
It's very good.
And can I buy this online? Like, can I?
Yeah, so we actually
I'm gonna
just
get
got some. We're in all the Bevmos right now, but we're in a 7-Eleven in Detroit. It's like a test thing. We need them to like sell enough to order more. But we're on GoPuff too, so that's where like a lot of people, we have a deal with them. But I'll get you guys shipped some. I should have brought some today. It's actually, if you like it with booze, with tequila or vodka, it's really, really good.
My go-to, especially if I'm like at a casino or something.
It's like we're just shilling a drink on a podcast.
No, I mean, I know because you actually like.
Yeah, you mentioned it before the podcast too.
Like,
but yeah, if I'm out and I'm tired, it's either a tequila and Red Bull or a vodka Red Bull.
Absolutely. I do think one of the things that is like similar to the Web3 and the NFT world of what we're doing with 100T is like we started as a gaming organization to have pro esports team. Well, really before that, it was even like Matt was doing apparel to start, Nate Shop. Then it became like the pro gaming team, and then it developed into like all these other areas. So now it's like we're a strong media vertical. We have the drink now. We have keyboards where the keyboards we do like it's sort of like a streetwear style drop, but for keyboards. So like we
that's
partnered
really cool.
with. We did a deal with like Sonic. We did one with like Attack on Titan, and like we do a branded like mouse mat keyboard. We do a few pieces of power.
Oh, like a
It's-
full set. Kind
Yes,
of? That's really
it's
cool.
like a little like capsule type of thing, and sometimes we tie it into like our general brand too. So we had like 100 Thieves Attack on Titan collab. Then we had the high ground with it. We had our whole compound like wrapped in Attack on Titan, and
Yeah.
did a whole experience and pop up shop. So, but it very much like it feels Web3ish in the way of like every day. It's like, you know, to start it was like me, Nate, Jackson, who works at Paradigm now. It's like, what are fans like? What would be cool to do for them? And that's what like every decision we make is just like, how can we give the fans something fucking awesome? So that's where like all these random things have popped up that you asked us 5 years ago when it was us sitting in like the League of Legends house figuring out what we're doing. Like, we never thought we'd have a drink or keyboards or it's gaming, but it wasn't in the world we ever thought we'd touch. And like even going to peripherals is like so diverse.
Yeah.
So it's very much been like us winging it, but it's been a really fun ride for sure.
Would you say, are there any particular... I feel like gaming has changed a lot, but also like hasn't in a lot of ways over the last like 15, 20 years where like... I don't know. I feel like now, and maybe this is just because I'm not as involved, like there aren't really new games as often that like really capture people's attention. I feel like we have these mainstays of games. Like now, like CSGO 2 is like...
Yeah.
Oh, Valorant, I guess, is the really last big one. But have there been any like distinct moments in time or like things that have happened like Fortnite or like, you know, a new game mode type kind of coming out where you were like, oh shit, like this is something we have to like be really thoughtful about and like make sure that we're acting on in a particular way?
I think Fortnite really changed the gaming landscape with one, the free to play to start. Then it was like the interactive, like metaverse-esque experiences.
Yeah.
Like the first time Drake like was in Fortnite, that was fucking insane. Like no one ever saw anything like that. And then literally this just came out 2 days ago, but it's actually like going to be the biggest gaming change in the past like 5 years. But Fortnite added a new creative system. I don't know if you've seen like
crazy, dude.
people are literally built like you can build like an Elden Ring style game in Fortnite. Like I was watching Courage plays, like walking through and fighting a dragon with a sword. Like it doesn't look like Fortnite.
You're like the
And,
fucking
like,
fish in Fortnite.
even now, I don't know if you guys have seen the clips. Someone made like a modern shooter that looks better than Call of Duty in Roblox.
I saw that.
And it's like Roblox so Roblox has like 60 million users that average over 2 hours a day of playtime, which 60 daily users averaging it is insane how much those kids are playing. So that shift is going to be like the giving people developer toolkits and really letting them mod and build out their own things. I think that's going to be like the longer term, because no matter what you want to do as a game studio, if you put anything out into the wild within an hour, you have like 1,000x the man hours of whether it's testing or you know content production, things like that. If you spend time developing the tool set, like the community would create insane things. Like,
well, I mean, you
for
even think that-
Minecraft, like we literally did an apparel launch through Minecraft 2 years ago where we had like 50 of the biggest Minecraft streamers. We had like a light and a dark theme. We had like black hoodies, like cream hoodies, different stuff like that. And we built a full Minecraft experience that everyone could go play and market in the game. Like there are agencies that just build worlds in Fortnite or in Minecraft that get paid like 100K in activation to build something for Samsung to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's wild to see how these creative sandbox properties are just so diverse and letting people do these different things. And
Remember even like the game modes people made for like Halo 3 and like those custom
The
those
new
were
Halo
some of the
Forge is
best,
godlike.
like custom game modes. They were really good.
I loved Infinite. It kind of like died out, but now going back, like the Forge tools are literally almost like dev tools. It's absurd to see. And even like Black Ops 3 did a year after Black Ops 3 was out, they put the mod tools out for the PC online, and people made like Dust 2 from Counter-Strike and Call of Duty, and they made like single player experiences. Like that's the future of just letting community create cool things. The hard thing for the publishers is going to be like, how do they monetize that on the flip side? But longer term and like sustainably, with just creating cool shit, like the community is going to do all that.
Yeah. Well, I think like the for the publishers there, what they're going to have to realize is like, if you don't do this, everyone's just going to keep going to Roblox and to Fortnite. And like I think that's one thing that's been really interesting watching the gaming landscape. Because I mean, how old is Fortnite now? It's what, 8 years old? Maybe not that. Maybe not quite that much.
I think
but
it came out in like 2018, 2017.
Yeah, 6 years
something
old.
like that.
It's been out for a long time, and like I just feel like there's been so much staying power with the really, really big games that like have generally done this kind of stuff pretty well. Like I think League's done a really good job with that, and like Fortnite, PUBG not so much, but they've kind of fallen away. And I feel like it's really challenging now for a new game to like come in and like establish themselves amongst
Well,
the most popular games.
One of the biggest challenges is, like, to begin with, you have to make the dope game and get people into it. That alone is, like, super hard. But then now you have to keep people playing. And it's where, like, games have transitioned to, like, a live service where if you're not updating your game regularly, you're not going to retain users.
Yeah.
And, like, now there's such an oversaturation, especially with, like, free-to-play stuff, that if you're not doing anything right for your users, like, someone will go somewhere else within. Like, it's so easy to go download a different client, a different game in a heartbeat. Like, there's zero friction. You don't have to leave your chair, and you can, like, write off a product. So
Yeah.
they need to, like, actively work and not only like do stuff for the community but also like communicate with them now, and like people will, you know, I mean, we've even seen NFT projects, even if you have issues, if you don't say anything and just go ghost, people just get pissed off.
Yeah.
So the developers are realizing now that it's okay to be like, we're struggling with this fix because there's humans working on it. It's like, I always preach that at 100T, like, we can humanize things. Like, it's okay if things are going wrong or not as well as we want. It's like having Nate get up there and say something as opposed to like the corporate entity or like the corporate brand verified account. Like, I think that's just the way forward. Like,
Yeah, totally. Like, Deez and I both play a good amount of TFT, and like I feel like that's one thing that TFT has done really well is they have like a very public developer in more who like he does updates every week for every patch. He does like a YouTube video
Right.
walking through it all, and like they've been very public about how like basically the way they keep people playing the game is complete game updates where they change out every single character.
Yeah.
And like they actually just came out the other day and said that now that their team is bigger, they're actually just going to increase the cadence in which they do full refreshes of all the characters, because like I feel like now for games it's really figure out what your core loop is that people like,
Yeah.
and then keep it fresh by just basically relaunching the game with the same
it's like
core
the
loop.
seasonal content
yeah.
model. Yeah, that's basically like the easiest way to do things. The hardest part is what you said, is identifying that loop that drives people. Like, I'm a huge Destiny fan. It's like we're in year 8, and they only got it right like a year ago of like
Yeah.
what that loop should be. So it takes time, and I love the Web3 space, and I obviously love the gaming space. I think that Web3 gaming is so much further off than people think it is because of like, whether you like Activision Blizzard games or not, I spent like 4 years on the inside around teams of like 300 to 500 of the most talented developers, and it takes 3 to 5 years to make a game. So these like random startup teams of 10 people, they might be able to make a cool like random, you know, showcase piece that looks great for a minute or two, or, you know, is like one level, but to create a full-fledged like AAA large-scale title that is going to retain users is going to take a longer time than I think people realize for sure, because that's what's going to make this space succeed at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Like,
totally.
people can, like, it's not actually like the true ownership, but if people want to sell their CS skins, like, you can just go to a third-party market site and sell it through PayPal. It's not it's easier to do that, even though it's not supported by Valve, than to trade an NFT asset at the moment.
Yeah.
So like the people are just like, you should come to Web3 gaming because you can own the asset. They're like, why? I can sell that thing for more money, and it's a game I play. Like, until it's the game people play, I don't think there's going to be true appeal. It'll be like what's going on now in our space, where it's the same 10,000 whales or Web3 people just trading their money around and
Yeah.
trying to outflip each other. But for long-term sustainability, it's like, we need a great game.
I totally agree.
Random rant, but
No, I completely agree. I think that like a lot of the like play to earn stuff and all of that like has these ideas that are interesting, and I can get where they're going, but like that's one thing that I've always been big on as someone who like is in the space and is a pretty big gamer. I was just like, if the game's not fun, it doesn't matter. It's like I liked a lot of tactics games and stuff like that, and like I tried like Axie Infinity in these games, and I was like, sorry, the game's not very fun. Like, I don't know what else to say.
And the thing is, to even make the asset like significantly valuable, you have to have a game that has staying power. It's like, you know, there's been a lot of great games that we've all played that are gone within a year or two. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
off the top of our mind, it's like Warcraft, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Dota, like a few other things that have been around and have staying power.
Hearthstone.
Even for like Call of Duty, even new game each year.
Yeah.
And like, don't even get me started on the interoperability stuff, because the tech to like take a skin from another game and put it in your current game is so damn difficult to do. I don't care. Like, unless you build a bunch of games on the same engine from the same publisher, you're not going to use your one asset in that game and then get it over to another.
Yeah.
Unless those developers build their core system from the start to match each other. So that alone too is like a whole giant myth.
I've
in
always
my
thought that
opinion.
was like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
I don't
don't
know. Do
even
you
get me
have any
started on
thoughts
it.
about the interoperability stuff? I've always thought it was so
You want to use your
stupid.
Fortnite skin in Call of Duty? It's like one's pink, one's like camo. Like, I don't know.
You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb.
I mean,
I mean, those. I guess the pro skins that are like white and shit stick out.
Well, so for competitive play, it's actually interesting. When the players play, they don't see any of that. That's all an overlay that's through the broadcaster mode. So the game looks normal to them, but you see them with like their team colors and everything.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's how all the competitive games work, because otherwise it'd be like a massive issue.
Yeah.
Because people choose to use those skins in the game, and you just see them like they're like fucking giant white characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, isn't that a thing in League where there's like optimal skins to use, or
There's
there used to
certain
be?
ones where, like, the
So
hitboxes
when
are
we were
different.
designing our LA Thieves skin for this year, like in the past Warzone, there was a skin called the Rose skin. It was all black, and everyone just ran it. So we were in the creative thing. I was like, let's just make our skin all black. And when we create the skins, Activision gives us like certain templates of like what we can and can't change on the guy. So it was like all black with like a tiny little red patch, and it was the number like 9 selling Steam game as a individual like MTX asset. It was the number 9th game for a week on the Steam store, and then
Yeah, I mean,
and then
it makes
Activision nerfed our skin and released their own black skin. But it was
That was smart, though.
It's pretty funny how like design aesthetics when it comes to gameplay can really affect of like what people are buying there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to be as
It's the future of
camouflaged.
NFT gaming skins. We just make them all black. And we sell them for 10 ETH each.
That's bullish.
Just little accents to.
I just wrote the playbook for everyone.
Yeah,
NFT gaming.
It's over.
It's done.
Well, I guess there's some games where like the color maybe doesn't matter as much too.
Yeah, I think it's mostly tied to like your FPS style type of games, like
Call of Duty, it really matters.
League. It would never matter what skin your character was. Cause
I think it did a little bit because of the hitbox.
so. If there's physical hitboxes, then that's completely.
I think
different,
there was some stuff
cosmetic-wise.
with some League. Yeah, it wasn't cosmetics, but it was like some skins slightly altered the hitbox of some characters,
Oh, I'm sure.
and that was obviously rage-inducing.
There were
for
some
everyone.
where the abilities wouldn't show like very clearly where you would get hurt or not.
Okay.
If you were using the skin, like the skin would kind of make it look like, oh, the radius is smaller on that. Oh
I see.
shit, it still hurt me. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a big one.
Working on the development side gave me such an appreciation for how hard it is to make these games and how like it's sort of like whack-a-mole. You like fix a bug and like 5 more pop up, and it was like insane to see the types of bugs and what could cause it. And I definitely have like a greater appreciation for all game developers and like software developers than I did before that job. Just seeing how like difficult it is to like triage issues and figure all that stuff out.
How did that transition go? Going from like the pro gaming.
So when I retired from pro gaming, like we weren't getting paid the same as like the players are nowadays. Like we were one of the highest paid teams. We got like free housing, like $700 a month. So I knew that I wanted to like springboard that into the industry. So I really wanted to make maps to start. And I grew up like modding Halo maps and everything. So I went to a bunch of tournaments, and actually Dr. Disrespect, before he was like Doc, he was at one of the game studios and had some ties to the community, and I knew other people from going to tournaments. So I just went around and like tried to network, and I got a minimum wage job as a QA tester. So I was making like $13.50 an hour in San Francisco.
Which is basically you're losing money.
I was
per hour.
literally losing money. I was living with a random couple off Craigslist that I met. I was living off COD money, and it's how I got into shoes. So this is like 2015, 2016. So I was going to like Bait, You're Undefeated. It's like all those like Cali stores would enter the Yeezy raffles in person and would sell the Yeezy. So I was flipping shoes to like pay for my rent while
That's
I was,
what I was doing,
trying to get
too.
into the gaming industry, because I was living at a loss for that first year.
Yeah, I wrote a Supreme bot for like
Okay,
that
there
would
you
like
go.
mod
Yeah.
all this stuff. But I never like sold or anything. I just used it personally. But I would like do that for like Kith, Supreme, all
like
those
that.
drops, and
I tried to do some of the bot stuff, but back then, like going in person was just such better odds.
yeah, it was
So
really
I
that was
didn't
the
have a
move
good
was to
bot.
go in person.
And then finally, like started to do well. Like after that first year, Activision pulled me to the headquarters, because the way COD works is a new COD comes out each year, but it takes 3 years to make. So I was at like one of the studios. So we were working on a game in 2015 that was going to come out in 2018. So after that first year, they pulled me to the Activision headquarters, and then I would like go to each studio each year, and like you'd work proactively with them. So that's how we started like spin up the esports side of things. But it just gave me like a way to impact like the ecosystem more by being at the centralized location.
And then how did the transition go from leaving there to 100 Thieves?
So I was looking at just sort of like what was next for me, and I was actually about to go work under Fwiz, who now runs Polygon stuff at YouTube Gaming. And then it was actually Fwiz and Matt were in my kitchen, and Fwiz was one of the ones who helped convince me to actually not go to Google then. He was like, yo, like you're 25. It's like, now's the time to go start like a video game startup with your friends. He's like, when you're 40 with like a family that's relying on you, you can go work at Google and be a normal person. So that was like something that did kind of encourage me to take that risk, because it was intimidating. Like, I have a lot of respect for Matt, obviously, as a person. I'd known him, but it's scary to think about, like, a bunch of kids your age when we were 20. It was like me, Matt Jackson, and like, thankfully we met John, who's our president. He gave me like a ton of faith in the company as well, but Fwiz helped give me a lot of confidence in making that jump to start, because I didn't know much about the startup world, and like my family had normal jobs, so the idea of taking a risk like that was pretty intimidating. But a lot of it was just like, I really enjoyed the space and it's what I wanted to do, so it never really felt like work. And
yeah, I feel like that's an
it worked
important
out.
thing for it to jump into a startup like that.
Yeah.
Is you gotta really enjoy it.
It was, I mean, a lot of long ass days doing a lot of random things that like were not on a job description, especially when you have a company of 5 people. I mean, like, there was one time where me and Jackson, we were like trying to sell an orange hoodie at some point. It was me and him, like the children's section of Target, pulling out 20 different orange Pantone t-shirts of like, take this back, we'll see which one of these colors we like better. It's like, and I was eSports at that time, so you're definitely doing a lot of different things, but it was a really fun time when 100 Thieves was like 10 people. I mean, now we're a lot more than that.
How big is the company now?
I think we're up to like 100 employees.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty large overall. And we have like, obviously with creators and like esports players involved, but they all are on the payroll for sure, so
Nice.
they count as employees.
That's really cool.
But yeah, it's been pretty cool to see how it's scaled, trying to figure out what the right way to scale is. And as the, esports and gaming space has its ups and downs as well. It's very much similar to the NFT space. Like, you have the general market to worry about, whatever you're doing with your own project. Like, same thing for us. Gaming and esports is going to go up and down. 100 Thieves reacts to a lot of things with that.
Nice.
What are some trends that you're trying to get ahead of? Or you mentioned earlier, you're trying to give fans what they want before they know they want it. Are there any
I think
shifts that you see happening?
I think to start with that, it was like really with High Ground, they were super forward thinking with what they were doing with keyboards and like their whole packages, making it like a fashion capsule package, but also like adding just that hype to like a profile drop was never there. And now they're scaling up. They have an evergreen collection and like the more like limited drop style type of thing. But I think a lot of it is just going to be the future of like what type of content we create. And we're really focusing, and especially with me running talent now, 5 years ago, YouTube was a lot of like random challenge videos where it's like, let's get Deez and Andy together and come to the 100 Thieves compound and, eat some hot chips and see what happens on YouTube. And now it's like,
I'm down. Whenever you want to do that, you let me know. I'm there.
If you guys do ever, like, we could even go over after this if you want to check it out. But if you want to tour the compound,
100 Thieves.
I'm game.
I can give you a tour of that, but
Like, Jesus.
that stuff sort of just got played out. So now it's like we really want to focus on building unique shows that creators are excited about. So it's like finding these passionate, like the phrase I use, like, I'm not looking for influencers now, I want entrepreneurs. And like that's where creator-driven products, and this is where like there's a lot of similar to Web3 are going to be the future. Like one of the things I thought was so damn cool, even though it's like nothing like in his wheelhouse, there's a huge streamer called Ludwig. And
he's fucking huge.
He recently made a bidet, and it's sold out within like 10 minutes. Like that to me is the proof of like the power of creator products going forward. Like obviously it's not within his wheelhouse. Everyone uses a toilet, but just the fact of like instantly like that type of hype, and it's like going forward, like that's what excites me.
We
is
need to
like
make a bidet.
the future of 100 Thieves is bidets. That's what excites me.
Red and black bidet.
Geoprint bidets.
It shoots energy drink at your ass.
There we go. Okay.
It's a
Boy,
reverse bidet that hangs and then it shoots.
we're gonna have to
in your mouth.
patent some of these before we're.
Before we go live, we'll make sure you get the paperwork down.
But yeah, that in general, just like I know it's like a very broad thing, but having more creator-driven things, and like for a lot of us, it's like how can we be like a resource and like not a production company, but sort of like help you produce these things you want to do, and like a lot of it is like if you have this cool idea, like we can help you execute it.
So how does that work? Not to get like too much into the weeds of any one person's like contract or something, but like, so how does that work? You find a creator who you think is like fucking awesome. Maybe they're a Twitch streamer or whatever. Like, are you just sponsoring them, or are there larger agreements there? What does that kind of look like?
So for creator economics, they have like a lot of different ways they can make money. So they can make money from like an organization's salary. They can make money from general brand partnerships. So if like a brand either comes to them or comes to 100T and then goes to them and is like, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, they'll get, money for deliverables of like this amount of tweets, this amount of sponsored posts, things like that. And then they also make the revenue from like their general YouTube AdSense, like Twitch ads, things like that. So a lot of it's like sponsorships, endorsement from them. Some of it comes like from our side, but a lot of the creators make most of their money on deals from like one-off sponsors and things like that coming in.
So you guys like,
but it
almost
is very like
kind of act like their agent.
No, we're not a talent agency in that sense because they have agents and they have actual managers. Ours are more of like if we have a company that wants to work with 100T as a brand as a whole, we will then like pass some of that down through them.
Got it.
But we're not like selling individual deals like for like Courage, for example. It's like people want to work with 100 Thieves. They like are buying into our cast of characters. So that's sort of like the business side.
Cool. That makes sense.
On our side of things.
That's cool.
Without going like too much into it. But each creator has their own deal. They have agents, managers who are dealing with things. And then as you get bigger as creators, that's when you start to go into more diverse worlds. So a lot of gamers or streamers became big off of one game. But like we had a girl that we signed when she had like 1,000 viewers called Valkyrie. And now she's in like Gucci ad campaigns and like the scale of as you blow up, you can do all these different cool things. So it's unique to see how creators evolve.
Go ahead.
What are some of the factors you look for in creators when you're bringing them on board? Like you said, you found her when she had 1,000.
Well, so when I say we, that was 100 Thieves. A lot of that was led by Jackson because I just pivoted to the creator role recently. But a lot of it is just like you can look at it from like a data side where you can study like graphs and trajectory, velocity of like how they're growing. But I think a lot of it too is the general like personality, the type of content they're creating, like the fandom they have around them, how engaged they are. The biggest thing now to me too is just the mindset because even 5 years ago there were like less people that wanted to be YouTubers or gamers. Like now, if you go to like a third grade classroom, instead of kids wanting to be like astronauts and like kings and stuff like that, it's like I want to be a YouTuber. So it's so saturated that now I'm looking for those people that have like some form of goal or like thing they want to do. And it's like, I don't even need you to have a fully fledged plan, but there's just so many kids I sit down and I say, why do you want to join 100 Thieves? They're like, I like gaming and the brand. And it's like, what do you want to do with your career or whatever? And they're like, I like playing Fortnite. It's like, I need more than that at this point now because unless you're just the freaking best in the world, there's a lot of people who like Fortnite. So it's like we've seen creator. I mean, there's a creator, Cutie Cinderella. She just literally threw a full streamer awards thing. It had like 550K on Twitch. They had like $1 million in sponsors against it. They rented out like in a movie or a theater here. They had a fully produced award show, and it's like these creator events are getting bigger and bigger. I mean, like Nick Merckx has like a giant tailgate down in Florida, and I think they have thousands of people go to these things. Like it's wild the fandom these people have, but also like the unique access ability that you don't have to traditional celebrities.
Yeah.
And I think that alone just like goes back to the humanizing thing. Like if you see a random bidet brand, you don't give a fuck about it. But if you're a fan of Ludwig and you're like, Ludwig's doing this, and it was something I preached to Matt.
It's funny too.
I was talking with Nate, and he's like, yeah, like I really give Logan Paul, I don't know if he's going to want me to say this shit, but he was like, I give Logan Paul a ton of credit for Prime because he's like any Instagram post, whatever you see with him, he's holding Prime. They've obviously done amazing things with their UFC deal and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like you holding Juvie and like pitching it, like it's not a shill. Like this is your product as nature. Like people want to support you and what you're doing. And it's also like an energy drink. It's very authentic. It's not like you're selling them a useless thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think people want to support creators and humans way more than brands. And I think those creators need to lean into those things. Like it's the same thing like when it comes to collecting artists and stuff. Like when you meet an artist or whatever, or like, meet a great photographer, you immediately like look at their work and value it in a different way because like their story or who they are just humanizes things. And it's like on the flip side, when things go wrong on the business side of things, or things are wrong with like an NFT project, it's like the humor, the founder is like they're working his ass off, or the owner is like trying to build this thing genuinely. It like helps you view things different ways.
Yeah, I feel like the whole Twitch streaming side of things has been really interesting. I don't watch nearly as much Twitch as I used to, but that was like, I mean, basically all throughout college, that was in lieu of TV. I just watched Twitch, and like I feel like that's been interesting too because we've seen so much of the content on Twitch kind of turn into just like
it's not gaming anymore.
It's not a gaming platform anymore.
There's some gaming, but like the biggest category on Twitch every single day is just chatting.
Yeah,
there's people sitting there talking to the camera as their personality, or doing random things like react content or watching stuff together. Like that's where like the future of that is going.
Yeah,
I mean, gaming content isn't going to go away, but Twitch is much more than gaming. And like even our business as a company, we have so many people, like because we have a fully fledged apparel team. The guy who runs our apparel now was at Hundreds for like 10 years or something. But a lot of people come in and like, oh, I don't know anything about gaming. It's like, you don't need to. Or like you can have, a general interest. You don't have to be a pro level people. Like it's such a broader thing than people realize now.
Yeah.
And like Twitch is just a reflection of that.
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel like really it kind of has turned into, it's like a lifestyle thing more. So I feel like it's almost more just like people who are kind of always online.
I mean, I'm 31. I'm not even
kind of
in that younger
communities.
generation,
Yeah.
but like they put Thursday Night Football on Twitch, and I was like, football with a Twitch chat is the greatest thing in the world.
yeah.
Like seeing just like people talk shit and like your general Twitch lingo, like live with 100K people there watching the same game, like that stuff to me is awesome too, and that's like another reason I'm bullish on that just in the future.
Yeah. And how has... Sorry, I find all this stuff about your business very interesting.
No, you can ask
so
me
I'm going to
whatever
keep
you
going. We'll talk about crypto and all that at some point, maybe. Maybe not.
We don't have to. It's all good.
How has the emergence of TikTok as like a means to relate to fans changed, like the way... Has it like been a big part of how you guys think about things? I feel like it has to have been, right?
TikTok changed everything. The biggest thing now is you have to make, and this is for like businesses or creators, but you have to make content that is specific for the platform you're going on.
Yeah.
So it's actually been really interesting for me because while I've been in the space a lot the past 6 months of being on the content side, my boss now, she spent like 12 years building out leading content at Barstool. So
Okay.
she is amazing at like taking these random shows and building a full IP around it and like monetizing around it. But seeing how that has really evolved has been super interesting on that side of things. So I'm excited to see what a lot of the new creators do with their monetization angles. So what was your original question?
Oh, no, just like how TikTok kind of affected things.
So that affected it, one, from their point of view, because they had to really think about how they made content differently. It also is like a different sense of humor. Like kind of what's funny on TikTok isn't necessarily what's funny on Twitter and vice versa. And some of that's due to like the younger generation, but the short form video style, that changed a lot of things because one, it changed users' attention span. Because now, like, I think that's why those like 5 to 10 minute challenge videos sort of died. Because that you're either consuming like a 10 to 15 second short form content, or you're consuming like 20 to 30 minute or beyond long form, like highly
you're like
produced
sitting
content.
down for
Like,
a thing.
So it sort of changed it because you could make impactful content that would drive followers with super low lift. Like TikTok was great for a random person with a phone and nothing else, and like you could be a mega celebrity now and film like a shitty low quality video on a phone and no one cares because it's like authentic. And I think COVID helped with that too, because like everyone had shitty webcams when it first came out. It's like you had these C-level execs on like a Logitech camera from Best Buy or something. It's like they've never been seen like a DSLR camera. But I think TikTok really like humanized a lot of that again, and it's made us like it's made content, I feel like, be a little bit more diverse. Like cooking stuff started popping up on TikTok, and you like lifting, and like it was harder to do that on Instagram because it was either just like a still image or like a longer form video. But I think that enabled a lot more of like that instructional type of content too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't use TikTok.
I don't either. I just watch it with Allie.
I didn't until I took this job, and then I felt like the boomers like I need to download this and like actually get on top of it.
I have
but
to use it for the pod because it's like, you know, there's no reason that we shouldn't have clips on TikTok of
yeah,
the pod.
absolutely.
Like it's
Well, the best thing, I mean, we did this with a lot of our podcasts too. You're going to film like an hour and a half, 2 hour podcast, and like you're going to find one or two valuable like 60-second social clips from it, and like because all you need is that little clip of someone talking about something interesting to make someone, even if they go to your video, click through and find that little segment. Like that is the easiest way to drag people into it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. We find one clip that is really good, or maybe the best clip from the pod,
Yeah.
and then I tweet the shit out of it for like a week straight.
Absolutely.
Trying to get people to get hooked on it. But it's tough. It's really tough, too, trying to drive people from Twitter to YouTube.
Yes.
Or, like, from any platform to another platform.
Very much so. It's wild to see, like, people have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. You know, they go live, and they're live to 40 people. And it's like even some of your most famous athletes go live on Twitch and have 400 people watching. It's like, it does not translate no matter who you are. Like, unless you're, like, literally, like, when Drake played with Ninja, like, if you're not Drake or LeBron, basically, it's not going to translate.
Yeah, you have to be like a mega celebrity.
It's
for it to
interesting.
happen. Has LeBron ever been live on Twitch? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I feel like he wouldn't do it.
He's been on other people's streams, like calling them. Like I know who, like Aiden Ross talked to him on stream once on like the phone, but I don't actually know if he did his own stream. I don't think he needs to. I think he's doing okay without his Twitch revenue.
He's fine.
How did you get into crypto? Throwing all this shit.
So I don't really remember what made me get into it.
All blur.
So I minted a BGAN punk in March of 21. If you don't know what a BGAN, it's a
Oh no, we know what BGAN punks are.
So it was 0.77 ETH. This is before apes.
0.77 or 0.07?
It was 0.77.
Yeah,
I didn't know what
they were.
I didn't know.
I didn't mint BGANs. I know what they are.
The reason I got an NFT is because I was like, oh, that number's less than 1. That I can't I can't justify myself to go invest.
Yeah.
I can't even go spend $1,000 on a piece a piece of clothing. That's so absurd to me. But it's I've torched so much more than that on random pictures of dumb shit because it was less than 1. I'm like, oh, I got a decimal in it. I don't know.
Less than 1.
That fucked me up to begin with. That psychology. Luckily, it ended up working out in return as well because I was placing bigger bets than I thought when they'd hit.
Yeah.
So I minted that shit. It went to 0.
Naturally.
So I'm reading about. I literally remember reading the Bored Ape article when they were at 1 and seeing all this shit and just ignoring it because I was like, this stupid BGAN punk's worth nothing. Fuck that. Fuck that monkey. And then I think a lot of it was just during COVID. It was me and JCap, who he is a 2-time COD world champion. He's my head coach of LA Thieves now. But we were just bored as fuck during COVID, and I was like, yo, let's just buy these pictures, and we just started I was addicted. Icy Tools was my homepage. Actually, wait. So here's where I really fucked up. Before I really knew what was going on, I thought Rarity Tools was these are the new NFT projects. So as soon as a project got lifted on Rarity Tools, I thought it was new. So we were finding shit from there, torching money, not knowing what was going on. It was a great learning experience for sure. Then it was Icy Tools was our learning thing to find stuff, and we would go to the trending mints and go from there. But we were just fucking winging it. We had no alpha groups. It was just me and him. We these pictures. I knew a little bit from Jackson. The other thing that was really bad is in hindsight, if we could just manage each other's portfolios, we'd both be up way more because we have no emotional attachment.
Yeah, I feel that's huge.
Jackson had 4 loot at 12 ETH when they were it was 4,500. He's should I sell them? I was dude, it's fucking words on a page. It's 50 grand each.
Yeah.
Sell it. Meanwhile, I'm holding dumb shit or buying loot clones for 0.5 ETH.
I remember selling my Divine Robe. It was 20 ETH. I'm this is the dumbest shit
Yes,
ever.
yes, yeah.
We're in a group
That
chat.
stuff.
Nothing is happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that type of things.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I was the one who
the emotional connection stuff is tough.
Yeah. Oh, I my clone was 100K sitting there. Still.
Dude, the clone floor was 20 some ETH, and now it's down to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
lit.
tough.
What do you do? So were you a gambler before this?
No.
No.
I think I've always...
He's a collector.
I think I've somewhat gravitated to collecting, through games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The constant... when I first saw a project with random traits, I loved that. It was so interesting to me, and the fun game part to me, which, if I spent more time and, I had a point, 3 months ago where I did well for a month of, spending 5 hours a day trying to trade, but I love when a project first comes out, just finding mispriced things, because people don't know how to price based off of that stuff. The other thing that's tough is if it's not a somewhat significant project, no one's buying rares.
Yeah.
But that to me was just a fun game, sort of. It wasn't really about the money. Realistically, I haven't made crazy money flipping it, but I just fucking love doing it. It's a lot of fun. And
I had a very similar thing where it was when I first got into CryptoPunks, it took me so long to buy one because I would just scroll for hours and be I have to find the coolest ones, the best ones. And so it probably took me weeks from when I was I'm going to buy a CryptoPunk to actually buying one, just because I kept looking, trying to find the right one. And it's just something I feel it comes from all the games that I would play and just always trying to min-max that kind of stuff.
I also grew up on Halo forums, making signatures for people. So I've photoshopped and used Illustrator for over 10 years. So the other side of it, I really enjoyed the art side, and I was first in Google collabs making random generative pixel art. Then I was I tried a bunch of different art forms because anytime I immerse myself in an industry, I just want to do everything. When I was in gaming, I was a player, I worked on the league side, streamed for a year, just did a bunch of things to immerse myself and learn. And with crypto and Web3, I want to do the same thing. I was let me first try to make some pieces, and literally one day I just threw up 20 on OpenSea and woke up and I listed 0.02, and I woke up and they all sold because Jackson tweeted about it or something. But it was even then that was the power of I'm not a real artist, I've never made anything, and someone wanted to buy these things to support me. That alone was something that made me realize how much people want to support other people and creators. No one cares about Eric or Muddawg art. They were just Eric's a cool guy, he's doing this, let's try to support him that way. And it wasn't about the money thing, it was more of just the fact it was actually happening almost. But that was interesting to see. So I fell in love with it even more from the art side, and then really started collecting more art and started buying less of the random PFPs and more of one-on-ones and meeting artists and different photography and stuff like that. So a lot of different random things got me into the space, and I've enjoyed a lot of the connections I've made through it. It's actually been better through the bear market because like late 2021, I was taking like 5 calls a day with random projects just to see like what was real, what wasn't, especially the gaming ones. But there was so much just like they were clearly trying to just like flip a profit and get a quick buck. And like that's always rubbed me the wrong way. Like during the main bull market of NFTs, I turned down over like 150 ETH in NFT promos. Like I've never done one paid promo there. So like seeing the grifters and people like that, it's always annoyed me. And like I'm not fucking rich like that. Like good for them for getting their cash. I like the financial part of me like always says like, you know, I wish I would have just got that quick cash or whatever. But like long term, like reputation, doing things right, it's like way more important.
Oh yeah, totally.
In my opinion,
the best is when you get an offer and you don't take it, and then you see someone else tweeting, and they're not disclosing it, and you're just
it was so funny like how little people are disclosing stuff. And I
ridiculous.
dealt with a ton of this for our influencers with hashtag ad stuff. But I was sitting there watching these NFT people promote things, and I was like, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal. Like just not even saying. I mean, even I think with the Logan Paul like Oniforce thing, they like sent him 600 ETH and he just bought the 600 ETH thing, and they were just tweeting out that he spent 600 on their project. It's like that's illegal.
Yeah. Oh man,
the wild west of things here.
And so then 100 Thieves has done some cool stuff. I feel like you guys have like started to think about NFTs and do things. How has that side of it been? So you get into it yourself, and then what's the process of like, okay, maybe I should be cognizant of like how we can use this as a company? Or...
So that was actually pretty cool because that wasn't like spun up by me. That was like more of a general business thing. We have a head of digital he's actually a pen guy from Wharton, great guy. He's a mutant holder. And so we brought him in, and we're like spinning up this collectibles thing. So we first did for our LCS championship last year. We gave them diamond chains. We made a digital version of that, and then like we know gamers and our fans are super, super anti Web3 and like NFTs just because the majority of them think NFTs and think of like some douchey $100,000 picture of a monkey and know nothing else. And I do not blame them for it. Like I think we do a horrible job as a community of like
I'm actually all in. I
NFTs.
like totally understand. Like, I want to talk about that in a bit. It's a good thing to talk about, but keep going.
But so like even when we put it out, we addressed like every issue on the head. So first of all, to claim it, you went to our 100 Thieves Splash site. You typed in your email, it auto created a rainbow wallet for you, and then automatically like put the NFT, like when you literally just hit claim and it automatically like handled that. You didn't even have to approve like another transaction. So one was making it super low friction. We didn't want anyone like having to ask a question of how to do this. 2, we did it on Polygon and addressed to our fans. We were like, this has like minimal to no carbon like impact. We offset it like with whatever we did to offset it there. I think it was like, you know, a few $100s or something, but pretty cheap with that. And then the third thing was just like explain this is not a speculative asset. There's a infinite supply. Like our fans don't even get the concept. Like not they wouldn't get it, they understand. But we didn't message there was an infinite supply and it's not going to be valuable.
Yeah.
But it was like you're not going to make money on this. It is a digital collectible for you to have. And we had like over 700,000 people claim it or something, which is pretty insane. Definitely some of those were like bots or whatever, but that to us is like we need to slowly introduce people and give them reasons to want to do those things. Yeah. And making money isn't going to be the first reason to get anyone to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like also...
Or at least not a sustainable reason.
Yes, yeah. I mean, even if you look at like Axie or those pay-to-earn games, like it's basically like a Ponzi type of thing or it's just like super dilutive. So that was one thing that we were just really trying to do there. And then we did it recently again for our COD Championship ring. So... I'm excited to, like, as we go forward to see like how our fans react to that, and as we do more and like build out that program, how it works. But we just want to make sure we're introducing people the right way because as it does grow, like I very much do believe in it, and you know there are people in 100 Thieves that believe in it, but we need to make sure it happens in a way that isn't like disruptive to. Well, disruptive isn't the right term. That isn't negatively impacting our audience.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing too that just like scares me with Web3 gaming, like positions to our audience in general, is. At the moment, it's like very much like a luxury category. Like the even 0.05 ETH, like fucking like AAA titles don't sell for that much money. And it's like the average person needs to be able to get in at a much, much, much lower entry price. Yeah. And I'm talking like, you know, like Dead Drop just did an alpha pass for $25 and it gets you access to the game now. And even then, like some people in the gaming industry are like, I don't know if I want to spend $25 yet on that. Like, the people pushing the Web3 side of things are so like out of touch with like US dollars and reality that I think is going to be need a big shift, and we're trying to make sure we like do that as well with financial money. Like, this isn't something that's just for Nate Shine Courage. This is for you. And it's like, how do we do that longer term?
Totally. I think I want to go back to the just like talking about gaming and like Web3, because I feel like it's such an interesting thing where it was at like the surface level. When I thought about it, I was like, I don't understand why gamers don't like NFTs. But then actually, like, one of Weish and my friends, I actually thought he like put it pretty well. And he like understands crypto but isn't in it like day to day. And he was basically saying like, he's like, I get it, because like gamers are so used to these companies trying to extract so much money out of them all of the time. And it feels like on Reddit and all these places, it's like this constant fight of like, I don't want to have to pay for this new thing. I just want to play the game and all that. And like, all you hear about with NFTs is how they're all worth $100,000.
Yes.
And you need to have this to get into this thing. And all of a sudden it's like I can't afford to do these things. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to play the fucking games that I like. And like, I totally understand, like, without the right education and also just like like good acting companies who want to make good games, like, it makes total sense to me why gamers would be like, fuck this, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to like gaming versus gambling, because to your point with like just even the NFTs, like, it is very much has a gambling trait to it, because you're either playing a game where you're getting the asset randomly, or if it's like a skill-based guaranteed drop that you're getting that you're then selling, it's just dilutive because you can get it consistently. So I very much like agree with that take on things, and I'm still waiting for a really good answer on like why gamers should get into Web3. And until I have that answer, it's hard to like push people towards it. Like, I do think we need the good game first, but even beyond that, like, you can sell assets you have in games right now. It's not like supported by the publisher, but again, it's easier to do than like making a MetaMask wallet and transferring something over and figuring out like what's going on.
Just trying to onboard people is a pain in the ass. If I am not going to send them like 0.1 ETH, I don't even bother.
It's also just like the risk right now is insane. Like, I mean, the other thing that even just frustrates me is like, we always talk about you own the asset. Like, I was bitching to him on this over text. So I had a pro Fortnite kid who was at the 100 Thieves compound, and we had people delegating us their wallets, and then we were playing like Dookey Dash for them, getting them scores and runs. So we had like a group of like 10 different like eSport pros all doing this, and one random kid who was on the delegate wallet, I guess he apparently cheated or whatever. So you could deem every pass in the wallet was like flagged as cheating and got NA'd. So to me, it's like I don't know what happened on that side of things or whatever. I disagree with the fact that every individual pass was like deemed as cheating from there. But either way, it's like, I've been in gaming for 15 years. I've never had a Web 2 company like screw my asset like that. I spent 10 grand on that and had to sell it for 6 because they marked it NA after. Like, I saw him get the score on that pass. I watched him do it live from a pro gaming facility compound. So regardless of what happened, my one Web3 experience on that is like losing 4
you
grand.
You got rugged, yeah.
And I saw everything happen in person from the most professional level. So it's like, if that happens from the biggest player in our space at the moment, from like someone who knows gaming very well, like, I just think we're very far off. And I don't, I'm not like holding that situation like a extreme thing. It's very much like an isolated anomaly. But as that being a unique experience, that happened to one Web 2 gamer that tried to come over. They'd be shouting at the rooftops like, fuck this, I just lost 4 grand because that company decided it was gone. Like, and that's been the whole appeal of Web 3 gaming, right? Is like, they can't touch your assets, they can't do this. Well, they are. So until someone like shows me something different there, I can't tell people to get into it yet. Like, we need to be better. We need to make better games and go from there. So we'll see what happens.
Are there any Web3 games that are like being built that you are excited about?
I think Dead Drop's the only one at the moment, really. But that's like basically just Web 2 people doing it right again. Like, it's not. We need the Web 2 native gaming people to come over, because enough people who are like only been in Web 3, they can maybe make like a 2D scroller.
They don't know shit,
but they're not like the.
I've heard good things about Parallel.
Like, so Parallel is actually one I'm super excited about. We have a guy at 100T who runs a bunch of our social stuff, who's also on consulting Parallel. But yeah, huge fan of what they're doing as well. So I've had some peeks behind the curtain there, and they're like very real trading card game, like building for longer term, building for like much lower barrier to entry as well, which is like discussions we've had. I appreciate you bringing that up, because I do want to give them their credit as well.
The one I think of right now is like most hyped or most
likely to succeed.
I don't even know if they're the most hyped. I feel like they're the most. If you're having an honest conversation with your friends about Web3 native gaming, they're the one where everyone's like, "Yeah, they seem like they're doing it right." Like,
parallel.
If I had to pick a game that was made by a Web3 company that I was like, "This is going to be a game that people are actually excited to play in 5 years," it's Parallel.
But if you also look at the similarities of both of those, like Parallel and Dead Drop didn't take user money to like, fund it. Or at least I don't know about the early history of Parallel, but like Dead Drop didn't sell 10,000 NFTs at 0.5.
Yeah.
Dead Drop had people apply. They 200K apply. They gave 10,000 of those away. I looked at mine the other day. It's 0.6. Also, they did I didn't even know I had the NFT because I signed up with the email. It made a wallet on the Dead Drop site. You go to the Dead Drop site and you linked your MetaMask, and it had this little like great user interface. So they showed your Dead Drop wallet, and then you would click an arrow and you'd see just your asset of your past move from your Dead Drop wallet to your MetaMask wallet.
That's really cool.
On their webpage. So that to me was like, okay, they're doing it right because they're making it easier for the normal gamers. Like, there is so much friction to use a MetaMask wallet right now, and people do not understand that. And even now, to this day, I've been using it for 2 years now, and I have like the Cloudflare thing, or whatever it's called, that shows like what I'm about to prove. I'm still fucking terrified reading it every single time.
Yeah,
and it's like
I'm still nervous.
Yes, so it's like, and I'm like nervous on a wallet with like 0.5 ETH and nothing else and no asset. Like, yes,
one fake Andy
one
messages
fake
you on
Andy away
Discord.
from just giving away.
So,
well, don't even get me started on that because now I see this morning Elon's taking verified away from everyone. He's
Yeah,
like, now
I saw
just
that.
corporations can apply. I was like, great. Now I don't know who any individual user is, and I was like, I don't care about that for me for my verified check mark. But there's going to be 100 A-shots out there. Now there's going to be 100 Deezes selling fake links and shit like that. And it's like,
Elon's just firing from the hip out there.
Dude, he's doing what he wants. That's for sure. And
I'm all over the place with my rants today, so I appreciate you guys being on me.
That's a good
We're
time.
all over the place this week. This couch just has a special energy.
All right, so I'm going to go totally off to something else. We were talking about sneakers a bit.
Yeah.
You said you just got some of the OG Ultra Boosts on StockX.
No. So I bought those.
Back in the day.
2016.
Okay.
Those are the ones I could like afford back then.
Yeah.
But most of the like the Yeezys I would flip because those were.
Oh yeah, I remember like I hit on a couple of like the Travis Scotts and stuff, and I was like, would love to keep them, would rather sell them.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pair of shoes ever?
Favorite pair of shoes ever? Probably. I love my white cements. White cement 4s, just like very versatile. Can wear them with anything. Super clear. I have one pair at the moment. They're so beat up, but I haven't bought another one yet. I kind of like them beat up though.
That's where I'm at. I have a pair of the Sean Witherspoon, like the.
Did you get his montage drop thing?
No, I didn't.
I bought it. It didn't do well price wise, but I'm excited for longer term of what they're doing with
I'm
that.
going to buy one at some point.
So.
I'm definitely following along with it.
Yeah,
but
I got the friends and family.
Oh, drop for that. Nice.
Fuck you, D's.
I just like
the bail.
I've started trying to just pay more attention to projects that are like doing something. Like,
yeah.
I'm not good at golf. I think it's dope that Links DAO thing actually bought a golf
it's fucking
course.
awesome.
It's fucking sick. They actually did what they were going to say because like 99% of projects didn't do it. And, like,
shout out to Mike. He's a good guy.
Seeing things like that, I'd love to meet him one day. We're actually doing a lot more stuff with golf with 100 Thieves, which has been pretty cool to see.
Is Golf Gaming Club 100 Thieves thing?
No, that's 100 Thieves. This is actually something that got started during...
That's fire, though. I like it.
Thank you. We started this during COVID. It was like a group of 40 people in LA. We'd go like once a month, play Scramble, just have like drinks, play golf together. Now we have like over 1,000 people on the wait list. We have like branches in like Texas, and like we're opening up other...
That's
awesome. Bringing on TaylorMade as a partner, so it's really like blown up a little bit. So again, it's like very... NFT Web3 space. It's like a bunch of friends that just wanted to do something cool. Like
nice. That's really cool.
It was like started by Shibby is like one of the leaders of it. Who he did like Dr. Pepper Ultimate Gaming House MLG back in the day. This guy Hung, who he was like running an eSports talent agency, things like that. But just people want to do cool shit. That's what it all comes down to. It's just like the biggest difference that I've seen of like most of those things to most Web3 projects is like they actually do the shit they talk about.
Well,
like,
because you can't get the payday until you actually succeed.
You can't just anonymously dip out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that I think that the NFT space is still due for a bit more of a reckoning in that sense of just like we have not really seen a company other than like I guess Yuga, who like did the PFP, make a fuck ton of money, who's like done anything really of note, and I think we're gonna just see those projects continue to bleed out over the next bit.
I'm really interested to see, sorry to cut you off there, how these things create long-term value besides like, I mean, if the IP blows up to like the Disney level, sure, but right now, like, they've created value by giving holders other things, but it's like, how long can you do airdrops for without being diluted? Like, they've been great where even their cheapest airdrops are, still like 2 for the floor of the heavy metal passes. But at some point, it's like, when are the users getting things beyond like just that?
It really all is going to come down to, like, at some point, like, the rubber is going to meet the road and their game is going to have to come out and it has to be good.
I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the other side. It's interesting, like, looking at the land plots as a gamer, because you see, like, there's different tiers of resources, different types of resources, and it's like, okay, I'll be able to probably collect or harvest or use those to create something else. But, like, the game needs to be fun to play. Otherwise, you're going to create assets that you're selling to the same 10,000 people.
Yeah.
The other thing that scares me is just, like, player base. Like, if you have a game with 10,000 daily users, it's usually dead.
Yeah.
And, like... Is that every PFP is going to be online at once? Because, like,
yeah, I remember, like,
holder percent.
There's so many shitty games. I used to play, like, Ark Survival Evolved a lot.
Yeah,
and, like, that game when it got down to like 10,000 daily active users, I was like, oh, this game's dead.
Yeah, and that's when it died. That's not what it started at. Like, people don't realize how many people you need playing your game daily. I mean, like, Halo is a massive IP, and they have like 15,000 people playing daily, and people can't get matches.
Yeah,
like in different parts of the world. So
yeah,
it's just like more of the reason, like, NFT gaming, like, not scares me, but, like, I just don't think people realize how difficult it is to get people to play games, and, like, how many people you need playing the game for it to, like, work and be fun. Yeah,
one of our teammates at Tessera, he's one of my oldest friends from college. He worked at Riot for most of his time all of his time prior to joining us, and so he was on League, and then he was one of the first people working on Valorant back, like, I remember when it was Project A, and he was like, guys, I can finally have, like, some friends.
Project A is funny because early 100 team Matt went and played it, and he came back. He's like, "This game's going to be so fucking cool." Like, yeah,
but he's always like, he's so critical of all the Web3 games. He's like, because he built games for 5 years, and he was like, they do not understand.
Well,
like, people do not understand how hard
I think it's really good to have people like him, and, like, without sounding like like, I don't know, just without sounding like a douche, like, good for people like me who've been in the Web3 space to be critical. Like, don't get me wrong with all the critiques on games. Like, I want Web3 gaming to succeed. I love the idea of it, and, like, would love to see it do well. I just don't think we're approaching it right, and we're not approaching it with realistic timelines at the moment. So also, it's hard to even, like, traditional gamers who game every day, until you've, like, worked at a studio, you don't have an appreciation for how difficult or long things take with this.
Also, I feel like it's kind of weird that everyone decided that Web3 gaming is that we're going to get back into MMOs. I feel like that was, like, a decision that people made who don't play video games. Like,
I think the biggest thing with that is, like, it's such, like, an old school RuneScape vibe, and an MMO just has the most amount of tradable assets. It's like, if you made it a FPS game that's an NFT Web3 game, it's like, okay, I can trade my gun skin and my glove skins, or, like, what else there at that point. So to me, that just feels like anything with the resource, like, look at the other side. There's like a whole wiki just the reason. There's like 85 resources, like dozens of different artifacts. Like, they have so much shit. I don't know what the hell's going to be going on there, but I feel like that's why the MMO style is, like, taken precedent to start. It's the easiest way to make, like, falsely complex or overly unnecessarily complex.
Yeah, I feel like the card game stuff makes sense with Parallel. Like, to me, that makes way more sense than an MMO. Oh, I guess, no, MMOs make sense. I just think it's like kind of a dying breed of game comparatively to other stuff. I think it's just like people don't have that attention span anymore. They want to go play a 15-minute Fortnite game. They don't want to level up a character like that kind of. There aren't as many people who are doing that. I don't think.
I love Destiny. I try to get my friends to play, and they're like, I have to play for 5 hours before I can do that one activity with you.
No one
wants to. You have to do that, and then also farm this for 3 hours, and then we can do that. And they're like, oh no, I'm good.
I mean, I fucking loved games like that. That was what I grew up doing. I loved just, like, sitting and leveling up my Conquer characters, like whatever other shitty game I was playing.
It became, like, therapeutic to, like, not think about life. When you were a kid, but now when you're older.
Most of my 20s doing that.
Yeah.
Crypto and old school RuneScape.
I'm 31. I was farming Destiny guns yesterday, baby.
Yeah,
I haven't grown up yet.
But yeah, I feel like it takes a very particular type of person to want to do that. And it's not like the major gaming demographic anymore.
Yeah, and even, like, getting those major type of people, like, say their desires to grind to do that and sell the assets, it's like what matters is having the class of people who are going to buy them. Yeah. Like, that's what matters for growth of everything.
Yeah.
And
I always think back to, like, the Diablo 3 auction house. I remember when Diablo 3 came out, I was grinding at his house with him. We're like sitting on our shitty laptops playing Diablo 3. And like I go into class one day and this kid is like, dude, I got this crazy drop in Diablo 3. I sold it for like $300. And we were all like, holy shit, that's like crazy. That's more money than I've like ever seen in my life at this point. And like that kind of stuff all to me are like the little things of like, yeah, no shit, this makes sense. And like there will be eventually games that utilize NFTs that do all of this that are going to be huge. But it's just like it can't be fitting a square peg into a round hole of just like we're an NFT game, and so
I think we all know it's going to happen when people don't know it's happening. Yeah. Like, and the other thing that everyone forgets about too is the like legal stuff, because so even right now, like there's a reason when you buy something in a game, you never buy it with US dollars. You buy COD points with US dollars, and then you buy the item with COD points, because that alone is like a loophole for like the securities and like transactional stuff. So going forward, like every game, if they really want to make their assets like legally tradable, there's going to have to be like a massive lawsuit infrastructure shift as well. So we'll see what happens with that. It's just like another massive barrier that people don't think about. Like Activision Blizzard cannot legally like, and even with like the loot box issues, so you can't do randomized stuff like this and that. It's rules are different state by state. Like we can't even host gaming tournaments in Arizona, because in Arizona eSports are still to this day seen as gambling, not competition. Oh wow. Like when I was at Activision, that's so stupid. When I was at Activision, I wrote like a 10-page thesis to prove that COD was a skill-based game and not a RNG gambling-based game, to lobby for legal to like let us host these tournaments and like let us run these things in Germany and other places and stuff. So there's like all these issues that I'm just like biased about because I've dealt with, but like it's so much harder than people think. They need to get that through their heads. There's so many more like roadblocks.
I didn't know about any of the legal stuff, honestly.
Yeah, it was. I saw a lot of interesting when I was working the COD side, even like especially localization. So like we put a thing in COD one year where you could watch the COD esports matches in the game, like it'd be an in-game viewer, but in Asia you can't have any red blood at all. So what we had to then pivot was every time you would load up the competitive version of the game, you were loading up the Japanese SKU, which was then being localized to English, because the Japanese version of the game had no gore or blood or anything. The intro to the World War II game in Germany, instead of having flags with swastikas, they're just like blank flags. Like the games can be localized in like hundreds of different ways for each country that people don't realize about based off the laws there. So luckily crypto avoids like the country-based stuff, or at least it should, based off what it's promised in theory, but the idea of like avoiding a government regulation sounds pretty hard if you're going to like build it long term.
Did you ever hear the book Blood, Sweat, and Pixels?
No.
It's one of my like, as someone who likes video games a lot, obviously.
I'm going to have to read it then.
It's really, really good. It's like I can't remember the name of the author. He's been around in gaming for forever though, as like a reporter and writer. And so it's like 10 or so different chapters, and each one is about the creation of a different game and just like how fucking hard it is to make video games. It's like each one goes into different challenges, and some are like small. Like the chapter on Stardew Valley is like really, really good and just gets into like his life and how he almost gave up and how he almost sold it, and then eventually, you know, he's like in his mom's basement and it blows up and he's making like all this money. And then there's other ones about like Uncharted 4 and all this stuff about just like how hard it is to be a massive game studio and like deal with all the challenges of making a game and how it just never goes the way that you want. And I feel like reading that gave me so much appreciation for just how challenging it is, and like all the different kind of challenges, no matter whether you're making a AAA game or a small indie game and all of that.
I'll definitely have to read
I definitely recommend it. It's a short read too. It's not very long.
I mean, dude, even like the internal challenges of making a game with a team, especially like all the time at Activision, I'm sure this happens at every other game studio, like the map makers, when they're making the game, it's like gray box to start. Like it's not fancy. It literally looks like blank gray Legos, and they're like, I want a piece of cover here, I want this line of sight to look there. And then they get the map after the art team goes over and like, what the fuck, like that's a clear fish take, I could see through it. And it's like you have all these collaboration issues, and it really is like an art form, it's not a science. So it's like very, very subjective in what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah, that was a big part of
it. It's tough to figure things out. It's not like there's yeses and nos and binary with things here. So
yeah. Oh man,
it's not just people using Forge mode, just doing things. Like you gotta send it off to the art team and have them.
It's basically like a detailed version of Forge. The map tools are like very similar with that, and like even now the new one they put out is crazy. But more developers are putting out their actual tools to give people things. Like that's literally what Fortnite did. Someone within 2 days they made the OG Fortnite map, and like that tweet alone had like 150,000 likes on Twitter. Like, and that studio it's called the Atlas Creative. They literally have like Samsung, Apple, like all these like companies are their clients because they build stuff within the Fortnite thing. That's the other thing too. Like more NFT people, like Web3 people, just need to go check out Fortnite because that metaverse they've been talking about has been existing for 5 years already.
Yeah, Fortnite and
the
Roblox
kids are
already are the
yeah,
metaverse.
they're in it. Like it's wild, and it's interesting too because I am immersed in gaming every single day for the past 15 years of my life. But that's like the younger generation. So even then, I've had to like actively go research those and. That was like me and Jackson at one point. We were just talking about Roblox for like an hour one day because it was like this fascinating world we uncovered. And it's wild as someone who lives in the industry how much new shit you can find each day.
Yeah. Do you play Roblox at all, or have you played it?
No. Well, I like downloaded it to check out some of the things, but I don't like actively play it.
Yeah, I can never get into it. I liked some of the like open world. Like I said, I really liked Ark Survival Evolved. I like the more structured kind of open world. Like fuck around and do whatever you want. But like Roblox or Minecraft for me are like a little bit too abstract.
It's too free thinking for sure. I grew up like until I retired from gaming, I only played Halo multiplayer and COD multiplayer. So I played like a lot of single player games when I retired. But yeah, I didn't get into Roblox and Minecraft too much.
Yeah,
I can't bring myself to play them. I have like a mental block.
I just don't know what I would do. I'm like not creative enough to like.
Yeah, it's like who can I beat?
I don't have the.
Even if I wanted to build a cool house, I wouldn't like be able to actually do it. Yeah. Like I would have the vision in my head, and it just sounds complicated.
I don't have the neuroplasticity of a young child.
I don't know what that means.
To pick up a game and learn it. It's like my brain doesn't adapt.
Yeah, I feel like there's also just like a certain type of gamer where it's like I'll enjoy to play through a story or something, but at the end of the day, like most of what I enjoy getting out of video games a lot of the time is that like competitive challenge, grinding a ranked ladder, getting better, and that's like really the core gameplay loop of gaming that I enjoy.
That's the whole reason I was grinding that Marvel Snap game, just because they had a rank system. Like,
yeah,
I'll play anything.
Oh, you throw a rank system on something, and I'm gonna try to become.
It's funny because I think like that's definitely a niche thing. Like you talk to a lot of different people, and they care way more about like the art style, the sound design, or things like that. So
all I care about is the rank.
I love that. You're a true competitor.
That's why I stick to the same games too. Like I don't want to learn a new game when I already have put 1,000 hours in the league. Or like,
well, that's like sort of the appeal of like League and Counter-Strike to a lot of people is like they can master these maps and like spend years and years on them. Like it was so damn frustrating being a COD GM because you're building a team for a game that you haven't seen yet. Because the way COD works, so like new COD comes out every November, right? At the end of September, the previous season, like your championship ends. So then you have a 2-month period before the next game comes out. And you have to build your roster like a week after Champs there. So you build a team before you've seen them play the game. So like that concept and like if you're building a basketball team, it's like 1 year the meta's 5 big men. 1 year the meta's like a bunch of people shooting 3-pointers. It's like we're sitting there guessing with it and then reacting after. So the better esports in terms of like the ecosystem or like League and Dota have like built these things up over time. And it's like...
They're very structured and...
Well, yeah, I mean like... think of it like a football field or a basketball court changing dimensions each year or shit like that. It's like you don't even have that consistency to help people develop skills. So that's like you reduce one variable and let them like control other ones. But,
are there any games coming out that you're excited about that are competitive? Or is it
no, I think most games have like been really bad lately in general. And it's not competitive. I'm excited about the new Zelda coming out. Like that last one, open world, was godlike. But yeah, it's been pretty disappointing. Actually, one game that's been really fun. They had an open beta. We had like a closed beta with a bunch of old COD pros, but they have if you know Aches, right? Yeah. So he's a developer on it, and another guy named Pac-Man used to be a COD pro, but it's a game Ubisoft's making.
Fear lineup.
Yeah.
Classic.
So it's a Ubisoft game called X-Defiant, and it's like sort of like COD, but with like abilities and a longer time to kill, but it's really fucking fun. So that was actually, you guys will like that as like competitive play. And the thing that they did really well, it has the abilities, but since they had pros working there, like everything is like a hard counter to it, and you can change characters. So that was pretty fun. We're making a game too. I didn't even touch on that, but
oh wow,
oh whoa!
If you guys come to the we actually have a playable build of it already. We only have a team of 3-4 people now, I think. We've been working on it for a few months. We announced it, I think, 6 months ago. But we got 2 guys who did the core like movement and gunplay and netcode from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. And then we have the lead Overwatch environmental artist came over to us.
Oh, that's awesome. I used to play a lot of Overwatch.
So you're making a shooter.
Yes. I can show you guys something. We haven't showed anything else out of it to the public, so I can't talk about it too much more on the pod. But yeah, it's been really neat right now. We are like building this sandbox to test a bunch of different things.
Really cool.
We've had like a lot of our esports players testing things in. Like we have a lot of creators come in. Like Nade's very involved in it, so it's been cool to just see us doing another thing in house and building different stuff like that. So we'll see what happens long term. But I mean, it's another thing I'm really excited to work on because, like, obviously I'm passionate about the 100T brand. Love developing games, so it's a great fit there too.
So, what's your favorite single player game ever?
Favorite single player game ever? That's I gotta put up some of the Zeldas up there. Maybe God of War. God of War was really good. I would put I don't know if I can group Destiny in there because it's like you can play like single campaign missions, but then there's also like multiplayer stuff together. But like
I think it's a pretty isolated game. I feel like.
I'm trying to think what else. Actually, I played Stray a few months ago. That game was godlike. If you didn't play it, highly recommend. Have you heard of it?
What's it called?
It's called Stray. You're literally just a cat. It had like 30,000 5-star reviews on Steam.
I've seen this one. Yeah.
I played it with one of my friends who she like didn't game much, but it is a god tier game whether you like video games or not. Like just walk around being a cat.
Maybe I'll play it with Ali.
It's in a futuristic dystopian society.
We're all cat owners here.
Yeah.
So you're a cat, but all the humans have died, so you're interacting with like robotic people. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
Ali got me a PS5, and so I've been looking for something. Is it on PS5? You
God of
think?
War.
I don't know.
God of War.
I would assume so. Yeah, God of War.
My gaming PC is still at my parents' place. I haven't set it up in our new place yet. I need to. It's been a while.
I really need to get a PS5 because I want to play God of War, and I grew up playing Ratchet and Clank, which is another great single player series. And
I have a lot of nostalgia for a lot of the Nintendo.
These are coming back to me now. Yeah,
like
Super Mario 64.
My
is so good.
favorite. I still think probably my favorite game ever was Fire Emblem Sacred Stones.
Okay, that's
like
a good one.
big like tactics kind of guy.
Yep.
And I mean, I played like all the Pokemons a lot and all of that. But yeah, there were some really good ones. Oh, what was it called? There were a couple like I really liked Slay the Spire.
Oh, godlike
that game is awesome.
Love Slay the Spire.
Really, really fun game. Like Monster Train was like a fun like second kind of iteration of that, but Slay the Spire is just like another level single player. I like roguelikes a lot.
I got super addicted to Slay the Spire when I was traveling a lot. It was such a good game to play on the Switch and just play while you're flying.
I don't play any of the like single player games. If I can't beat somebody else really, like I don't really play it.
So the biggest thing that made me, it was like sort of a mentality shift. But once I got done competing, viewing a single player game is like an alternative to like sitting down and watching a movie. That like to me was like you just have to like shift your mindset. It's like very much like lean back in your chair, take a dab, enjoy the story. Like
I'm still fall asleep.
There's no way you're taking your dabs and then competing in games, right?
That's what I do.
Like you're a different breed. Like
Jesus built different.
I can hold plat in League doing that. So that's
without knowing what planet I'm on, I'm a plat player.
That's.
We get you on some performance-enhancing drugs, you might be Challenger, baby.
Yeah, another game, the BioShock games.
Oh, BioShock, great, yeah. Elizabeth. Seen the Big Daddy with his big claw for the first time. Also, when they called him Big Daddy, I was like, this is kind of weird and sexual. I don't know what's going on here.
Those games were also just really cool aesthetically.
Yes.
Like
I was terrified.
Yeah, it was such an interesting jump, too. From like the first two to Infinite, like it changed so much. But Infinite's like so cool looking.
The bright, like steampunk, floaty atmosphere was so awesome.
It's so cool.
I love that. I actually just started recently playing the Harry Potter game because fucking, I won't say my internet service provider, but they cut a fiber line next to my house, so I didn't have internet for a week.
Oh,
so
no.
There were a few days where I was like driving the compound a game, like. I just got tired of doing that. So most games you actually cannot play, even single player games, offline nowadays.
I know,
but that one
crazy.
You could actually load up. Yeah, it's wild to me to think like you can buy an Xbox for your kid with a game, and it's like, oh, it's not connected to the internet. You can't update his single player game and download it, like, or the parents have to update their kid's Xbox on Christmas so they can play. But anyway,
the Harry Potter game, Mrs. Dees and I play together. That's the only single player game that we play.
It's like I was a huge Harry Potter fan growing up, but it's actually a godlike RPG game, even if you don't like Harry Potter.
You know, it's another fun play with your significant other game is Allie and I played it was a Mario Odyssey, whichever one was the one on the Switch.
And you got to be the hat.
Yeah. So because Allie loved that because it was
That's
very
one of my
non-committal for
favorite
her,
ones,
where
too.
she's just the hat, and so I'm jumping around like I'm essentially controlling the game, and she's just flying around as the hat. And
that's a
she
blast.
loved that one. It was good.
We do like Mario Party. That's
Mario
the one.
Party's great.
So the problem is,
Overcooked.
I don't like competing with Allie because she takes it very. So I don't like losing,
Oh,
and Allie doesn't
same.
like losing, but she also takes it very personally.
Same.
If I beat her, it's not just like oh you got me. It's like fuck you, you beat me.
Yeah.
And so it's not a fun experience for me. I don't like playing competitive games.
It creates
with
some tension.
Yeah.
It's definitely we do Mario Party because it's the least least skilled, the most
It's very
RNG
casual.
based.
Either way, it's a great game.
That's why it's
Mario Kart's great too for like a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
yeah, but there's still always that one fucker who like,
Yeah. Well, I feel like with Mario
power
Kart now, I
sliding
just
and-
like I basically will only play it drinking and driving.
Yeah,
Mario Kart.
We play as a pregame thing. So if you like taking it that serious, you're just being weird
Yeah.
at that point. Like,
Well,
I don't know. Some people are just competitive, man.
Yeah, I've played competitive.
Yeah, I feel like-
drinking and driving Mario. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
if-
you guys ever play
if
where it's
you're
like
there
you
all
have to
night doing
finish
it.
a beer every lap?
no, I haven't played that.
So we've played where it's like you're not allowed to finish a lap until you finish
Can't
a beer.
drink and drive.
Yeah, because you can't drink and
It's called
drive.
beer.
Oh, that's actually godlike.
And so you
I
know,
would just like take a shot after the game.
oh
Keep
no, we
going.
say you like everyone gets a drink, and it's like you have to complete the race and you have to finish your drink, but you're not allowed to drink and drive because that's illegal.
That's comedy.
And so you could like there's different strategies. Some people will just right away put
Chug
the
it.
controller down, shotgun the beer, and go, and other people will like get a lead and go, or like they'll wait till they get hit by a shell and then they'll put their controller down and start drinking. And there's like a
That's-
bunch of strategies.
That's probably the
It's
best way to
actually
max
really
man
fun.
Any downtime of an item, like
Yeah.
in the half second I'm spinning from a banana peel, can I get like a sip off?
Yeah, it's a really fun way to play, honestly.
I'm gonna have to start
We
that.
should be playing it. We should be having that
Yeah.
on the pod.
I should've
Next
brought-
at
I should've
FTLA, we'll have
brought my
everyone play
Switch.
Mario with us.
No,
We have literally in the front of the compound. We have 2 giant 100 TVs that has like a PS5 and other stuff.
Oh,
and so
that's
you walk
awesome.
in, people are like grinding Rocket League against each other, stuff like that.
That's a game that
Are
I
you a
suck
good Rocket
at.
League player?
It depends on what you define as good, but not I wouldn't consider myself good. I've hit like fucking diamond in rank, but
That's
Oh,
pretty
no,
good.
that's
close
good.
to, like,
That's good.
pro.
I can't hit balls out of the air.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like.
I feel like there's Rocket League in particular as a game has such an interesting skill curve.
Yes.
Where it's like you can go and be good,
So
and then you hit a certain
Yeah,
level of
I
player.
hit diamond. Everyone's flying. I was
Yeah, you
like,
hit a certain level of player where everyone no longer touches the ground, and you're just like, oh, there goes the ball. Oh, there goes the ball. I can't do that. And then you try and you just fly and do a backflip and fall on your back.
Every time.
Yeah.
I remember trying to do the training mode. Because like the training in Rocket League is actually really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
the
is.
little
If
If
aerial
you can
things.
do it, it's like, oh, you're a good player. And just trying to hit those balls out of the fucking air, I just spent like a half hour
Rage
doing it.
inducing.
I'm like, I'm never gonna be good.
I can fly and give you like one direction, hit the ball, but not any like control. I can't do like
also,
the air
people
dribble
didn't tell
shit.
me when I
like-
first started playing it that you're supposed to use a fucking controller.
Oh,
yeah.
I did know that.
I can't.
Dude, I was
You
using
try
a
to
mouse
steer
and
with
keyboard
WS6.
for like a week, and I'm just like, this is the worst game ever. Like, how are people good? And then one of my friends was like, "Are you using a controller?" I'm like, "No, should I be?" And then it's like at least easier.
Yeah,
to
the
fucking
joystick's just
turn.
way better for the movement.
I'm bad with WASD because I just grew up playing COD.
Yeah.
And when you grow up on the console, you don't have the mechanics. That's why I got addicted to League.
I don't know.
was
It
like,
took
oh,
me.
fuck yeah, I don't need to
Overwatch was the
learn.
first game I played mouse and keyboard. It took me like 3 months to even like figure out how to like do basic stuff by muscle memory. I was like looking at the keyboard to start.
Yeah, well, I always had that too, where it was like, for a long time, the only games that I was playing on PC were StarCraft and then League, and like with League, you don't keep your fingers on WASD, and so then you go like I would go back and forth between Overwatch and
Right.
League, and I like all of a sudden would have my fingers on the wrong
Change your hand
thing and like
position,
get
stuff
fucked
like
up.
that.
Yeah, that's tough. It's
pretty
hard out
funny.
there.
You still play Overwatch at all?
No, I've like I said, I don't have my gaming PC
Yeah.
right now. I need to get it at some point because I mean I still have like all my stuff for it, but it's
I
just
used
been
to
a
like
while.
Overwatch and Apex. I was bad at them. Like, I'm not good.
Apex is fun. I feel
I
like Apex is a
played-
bit underrated game.
I played Apex a lot when it first came out. I grinded Overwatch 1 when it first came out. Played a little bit of Overwatch 2 with friends.
Yeah, Overwatch 1 was fun.
But Apex, I enjoyed as like because I don't normally like BRs because like I don't like the concept of like if you're just in a hill and see me and I don't see you and you shoot me and I die. But Apex at least had like if I got shot at, I had a chance to like outplay or do
Yeah.
something like something worse than playing a BR for 15 minutes just dropping. You, like don't even know what the fuck you did.
Yeah, I feel like BR
PUBG.
especially.
Yeah.
BRs especially, if you have like a low time to kill, is just like not super fun.
Yeah, well, that's
especially
why
solo player.
I can't stand Warzone 2 because you just like get insta melted. Where Warzone 1 was so fun because you could run around and do different stuff.
Yeah, I feel like almost like Halo style mechanics would have done really well in like a battle royale
I'd
style.
love a Halo BR one day, but who knows if we'll ever get it.
Play BR with the BR.
I
It's
feel
a
like
good
the
time.
Halo IP has been so
They
mismanaged.
just fucked it up so bad.
Like, they
I'm
had
such a
It's
big
really
Halo
too bad.
fan.
A good game and such a lead, like Halo 2 and Halo 3, and then like Reach, and it taking forever for there to be no bloom, no sprint, and like the game still
Even
being-
beyond that, just think going to 343 was like a mess coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Infinite, they didn't update for like forever when it came out.
I gave up on Halo after Reach. Oh, it's quick to jump ship.
Yeah, same.
I was just like,
Which is
wow,
too bad.
it's over.
Were you good at Overwatch 1? Did you get
I
up there?
hit top 500 before the Overwatch pros moved to Burbank.
Okay.
And then they literally all came here. There's like, each
Yeah.
of them had like 3 accounts. There was like no chance of getting top 500 after that. But I got pretty good for learning. Like, any of us who've played a competitive shooter, we can pick that up pretty well.
Were you
Like,
what
I can't
roles
go
were you
pick up a
playing?
MOBA and like do well in that.
Yeah.
I got to like master playing DPS to get to top 500. I was doing that at tanker support. I'm
I feel like that was-
decent at aiming,
yeah.
but not good enough to be like S tier DPS
I was
player.
I was like after a while I basically became like a diva only.
There you go.
For a while. This was before her rework and everything.
Yeah, with the
and
micro
I
missiles.
wasn't that good. I got to like whatever it was after Diamond in Overwatch 1.
Okay.
But one of my buddies was really, really good. He was a Zen only, and he got to like Grandmaster or whatever it was. He was pretty good.
Zen was super fun to play.
Yeah. Well, he's fun because he was like almost a little bit DPS-y.
Yeah, he was
where
glass
like
cannon.
if you had the right accuracy
You
and you
could
hit him
frag
with
for sure
your
with him.
you could do some real damage.
I thought they did a good job in Overwatch of giving you fun support characters to play because from what I've seen in other games, support's usually like so basic and boring.
Yeah, no, like I used to love playing Lucio.
Yep.
And yeah, I always thought Mercy was kind of boring, but
Yeah, screw that.
yeah, they did a good job with that.
Lucio is always the one.
Oh yeah, let's pump up the noise and start just
Trying to
running
knock people
around.
off the map.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there were a few more
Fucking
rewarding
Greek-
things
the
than
Greek
like.
level where you're just
Yeah.
knocking them out of the hill as Lucio.
Oh yeah, one of the
Oh, the
best
well.
feelings is you hear like a soldier turn on his ult and you just pop him off the map. And
Yeah.
you're like, all right, see you later,
Yeah,
man.
it was a super satisfying game.
Yeah.
But even that, it's like you think of how big their world is. Not only that, their IP, their fandom. But they actually did a great job. You go to Overwatch events, there's college players everywhere, all that, and even they're struggling as a game.
Yeah.
So it's like these
What do you
Web3
think about
games are gonna take forever?
CS:GO 2?
I'm excited about it. I'm not a good CS:GO player. I'm excited to see what the rework's like. I'm very interested to see what the player population is after the past month because I think
Yeah.
everyone's going to come back to Star because it's new and shiny. But then it's like, how long can you sustain that? Like, even when Apex first came out, they had a crazy player population for 2 weeks. They had a wild influencer program.
Yeah, they did.
And then
It
it
was
died
crazy.
for like a year. And then
Yeah.
it came back and like got resurrected. But you literally have to work on these games consistently, like day to day, to make people care about them.
Yeah,
play them.
I've never really liked CS:GO. To be honest, I don't really like Valorant either. I don't like the shooter style of the like.
The precision.
Yeah, like I need to be crouching and like not moving in
Yeah.
order to shoot. I was always like I fell in love with COD because I'm running around with a silenced
Yep.
like SMG, like sliding and shooting people and like drop shotting and all of that. And like that was what was fun to me. Not like this kind of very slow, methodical like walk across the map. Like even when I would play Search and Destroy, my favorite way to play was just like run around with a
Yeah.
shotgun and just be a menace. And so
Absolutely.
these games just like don't really fit that style for me.
I feel like on that. It took me a while to get used to even playing that play style, but I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
No, I don't like walking so that people can't hear me. That's
Yeah.
another weird one.
I would always use the silent footsteps on God because I was like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to walk. So
They didn't. We don't have dead silence as a perk this year in competitive CODs.
Really?
They're going. So it's actually there's a Windows setting called sound or loudness equalization. So it makes the gun sounds quieter and the footsteps louder. So that is actually a setting that's banned at tournaments now. But online, like rank play's so ass because like you can literally be on the other side of the map and I just hear where you're running.
that's crazy.
It's so cheesy. I played like 2 weeks of rank play and just gave up. I was like, these kids just care more than I do. Like,
Yeah, now when I play COD, I only play. They have like that only shipment.
Yep, yeah,
game.
yeah.
I just play that. But it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's like this blast from the past for me. It's just like
I love that playlist.
I spent so many hours just like grinding shipment in my basement, my parents' basement, and like it's just a very nostalgic thing.
That's the best. That's
Yeah.
how I felt when Halo came out, the MCC stuff, just playing the old games.
Yeah,
Does anyone play that store or is it dead?
What's up?
The MCC games.
I don't. Anyone who does play Halo plays Infinite. They would basically play like whatever one came out for like a month, and then it would sort of die because once people stopped playing the rank playlist, like there wasn't people playing like the casual stuff in those. all the casuals were in Infinite. So
Yeah. It's interesting how
No
much
one's
of a
really
need
playing
there
Halo.
is for like the community building side in games. I don't think like the casual person really thinks about, but like you really have to be continually fostering people to come and play, because as the numbers decline, like there's people who are checking the Steam charts and go like, oh, this game is dying, I don't want to play it anymore.
It's literally a live service, and that's like the thing is so difficult to retain people. I mean, even like the Harry Potter game, it's down like 80% in player population from a month ago because it was a single player game. The content's done. It's like they spent years building it. The content was a few weeks to people.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they still made their money on it.
No, absolutely.
they did fine. But yeah, like it'll be very hard for them to ever monetize it again.
Right.
Like what,
You're
Harry
gonna have
Potter
to
2?
Well, they will have a sequel because of how well this one did for sure. But it's like you're monetizing off that single IP. When we think about like the Web3 gaming space, it's like, is the monetization structure going to be to buy the game? That's everyone's preach that the game's free, it's the assets. So then it's like, how do you get people involved in playing? Things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, it'll be tough.
We'll see.
Oh man,
Where are we at?
We could probably wrap up at some point, but
Probably talked a while. I don't know what
yeah,
time it is. Okay.
12:30.
Oh, we're only like an hour in, right?
Well, we started at what, like 10:45?
Oh, holy
yeah.
shit!
Damn, I did not feel like we talked that long.
That's a sign of a good podcast, I hope.
Yeah.
You have any questions for us?
What are you most excited about with just like the crypto Web3 space coming up? Doesn't have to be gaming related.
Yeah, I mean, not to talk more about gaming. I won't talk about parallel or social media or anything. But I think the thing that I've been most excited about this bear market is all the competition and the decrease in noise.
It's been so nice having the less noise.
Like we're seeing a lot of companies, including our own, kind of recognize gaps in the market and identify them and start building for them. And we're seeing a lot of people at events who are actually, here for the right reasons and not just trying to grift. So I think like the thing I've been most excited about is going to these events and making deeper connections with people who I think will be here in 5 years or 10 years. Because like last year and the year before that, it was just a little too crazy.
Yeah.
It's a little too much, too fast, and trying to vibe check everybody. And
well, anytime you have this like crazy explosion of like potential money and like wealth gain, it is going to attract a certain population of people that aren't there for the right reason, or they're just there for that. And it's like, you could be here for profit and also in like a good mindset and a good reason, like long term. But
Yeah, totally.
we're seeing that with like a lot of artists. Like a lot of artists are saying like, "Hey, I'm just going to leave the space now," like, or they just drop off, and that's fine and stuff. But I think the people who stick around are the ones who you're going to see, 5-10 years from now,
absolutely
be the ones who are lauded as the OGs and the people who built this place. So I think I'm excited to see that kind of happen.
It's nice to have the chain to prove the OG stuff.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not even a real artist, but I'm like, I'm minted art. I'm 21. Like I'm old.
I mean, that's the thing that like a lot of people didn't do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How about you?
Yeah, I think like on the NFT side, I definitely have like found myself just focus. I've been very impressed by how resilient the art side of the NFT space has been, in a way that honestly has been like pretty surprising for me. Like, I think it was easy to get like lost in the sauce of all the PFP stuff and all of that, and not necessarily
in that sauce.
Yeah, and like seeing just how much staying power like the community around like the actual art and like collectors and all of that has been really, really promising. And so like, I mean, obviously it's something we're excited about. It's like something we're spending a lot of our own time and energy on as a company. But then outside of that, I think like honestly a lot of the stuff that I'm more excited about is really like a lot of more infrastructure-y stuff for crypto in general. Like I think like shout out to Arbitrum, whose token just launched, but like some ZK scaling solutions and the Shanghai update for ETH where staking will be withdrawable and stuff. I think we're going to see over the next couple years like some real important kind of like structural steps forward for just like the general usability of crypto, not in any one particular niche, but just like as like a place where people transact and do things. And I think that has really been, at least like super recently, that's really been what's been capturing my attention, is just like, and it's nothing really actionable for us as a company or anything, but just like this stuff is really important, and it seems like it's actually finally starting to happen. As someone who's been working in crypto now for like 6 years. It's stuff that people have been talking about for forever. Like account abstraction is a thing that's been around for forever, and now it's like finally actually maybe going to come around at some point. And I think those types of things will be really, really huge for then companies like us who want to build real user experiences that don't feel like shit, and where then we can actually hopefully start to bring on more people into the space and do interesting and exciting things.
Well, a lot of that stuff that doesn't seem like flashy, like that's the shit that's going to remove all the friction that I'm sitting here complaining about.
Yeah.
Like we can't get users in because of X, Y, Z. So.
Yeah, and it's hard to sell sometimes because it's not like I'm really excited about this new token that's going to go to the moon. It's like I think this really technical structural component of the space will be valuable in the future.
Trust. That's like how I feel when like games like we have new net code. It's just like that's the most important thing, and no fan cares about it because they don't even know what net code is. But that shit's godlike. So I empathize with you on that for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm really interested to just see how the art side really excites me. Like I have become so much more interested in, like 2 years ago I would have never considered myself an art collector. Now I like, outside of the random like shit NFTs I bought, I already have like probably 40 plus pieces of like actual artists that I'm just like collecting and holding because I enjoy it. So I'm really excited to learn more about that. And like I've been messing around like Blender and learning like different types to just like create myself for fun. It's been like a really nice like relaxation, like when I'm done a long day of work and like don't want a game, just go and like make random shit. And I don't really share much. Half the time I just send it to him, like, look what I fucking made. It's like actually just making art for fun and like stuff like that. So I'm excited to dive more into that side of thing and meet more artists and photographers. Because that's the side that like really does, it's something that's so different that I've done. Like I'm excited for Web3 gaming, but I've had a lot of generic conversations with that. And it's sort of like, I feel like that just needs to like sit and breathe for a few years and like build some IP around it and like actual games. So I'm excited learning that more on like the tech infrastructure side and things that you're doing. But it's been nice with the bear market of meeting better people who are here for the right reasons as opposed to just trying to make a quick flip. But yeah, I think right now I'd go with art as my answer on that side of things.
Nice. Very cool.
So you said photography. Do you find yourself collecting more photography than digital illustration?
No, because I only started collecting. I think that I got John Knopp's one. Actually, that one was special to me because I went to Maui like 6 months ago, and I saw some of the trees that he said like were defawed recently. So kind of like a recent little touch. One of the things that with me it made my OpenSea made me view it as like an Instagram for a second because I never posted on Instagram as like a flex thing. For me, it was like a photo journal of like things I've done in life. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of interesting collecting like an NFT around the time I did something. But in general, I think I'll probably stay to more artists than photographers. I am trying to, one of our 100T employees, I literally met him editing montages like 12 years ago, Snipetality, but he's shot for Nade forever, and he has godlike photos. So I've been trying to teach him like, tell your story on Twitter, like do all this, because he's like super skeptical about it. But I would love to introduce more of my talented like art and creative friends into the space and like see them find success and understand like why I'm sitting here like preaching about this weird ass ambiguous world of made up internet money. That's the first time like I don't care about making money for myself, but I'd love to see like those artists because it's like it's so hard to monetize digital art. Yeah, especially like it's obviously getting easier with Web3, but so many of them sell their prints or pieces on sites for like $10 or $25, and it's like you see these people doing these random open editions. They put no time into it. It's like they had thousands minted at 0.1. It's like if I could have a real artist photographer make 10% of that, their life would be changed. Like that's another thing that excites me longer term. Like my favorite part about my job is mentoring the young like 18 to 24-year-old kids on like whether it's on the eSports or the content side of like becoming financially sustainable and building their business. And it's fun for me because I'm kind of going through it now. Like I'm 31, so like I didn't get in the professional side until I was like 25 though. So I'm like a few years ahead of their journey, like in terms of emotional maturity. So it's fun helping them on like that side of things.
Yeah, it's crazy how much I've matured from the ages of like 25 to, almost 30 now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was like the most formative time of my life so far was like a few years out of college, like kind of having a bit of a real understanding of what the world was to now has been like the most transformational part of my life.
Yeah, and then there's so many people I look at now, they're like 18, some of them are 16, 21, and they're doing shit that like I wasn't doing until I was 26, 27.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The younger generation's crazy.
I just really didn't have that like mindset, and also I feel like we weren't like brought
didn't know it
up
was
to like
feasible.
to think about
Yeah.
like I didn't think about making money until like I thought about like trying to flip something for $100 or whatever, but I didn't have that like entrepreneurial mindset or anything like that. I didn't really. Had no financial literacy, and so like even up until like getting deep into crypto, I really didn't know anything about like. I learned what an option is because of crypto, or like all these different things. I learned how all these things work.
I knew
because
nothing
of crypto.
about trading. Like
Yeah.
I call it paying my tuition, but like trading the crypto losses, like what taught me how to like literally understand crypto in general, financial markets. Like I didn't fucking know what a treasury bond was like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's like we're all learning at different rates here.
That was me in 2018. It was like I made a little bit of money. I thought I was a genius, and I lost it all. And I was like, holy shit, I don't know any of this. Like,
Yeah.
I need to learn. And then I still don't know much of it, but I learned a little bit.
Yeah, I don't either. That's a fun part about the space is it's so new. I'm learning a lot each day, and whether it's like learning about art in terms of like how a collector views things, how to create something, financial markets, how to go look at a Do Analytics dashboard and see what the fuck's going on. So it's been fun being all around different parts of the space and jumping around and immersing myself.
Yeah, the love of art's been interesting to dive into. Like going to LACMA
Yeah.
week was really fun. Going to see the old Picassos and getting to see like this is not a pipe, but it's like actually the piece and not.
I used to be the biggest like I could fucking do that. That's what the hell's that?
It's
and
like-
now like I
it's like, yeah,
love
you
and
could do
I
it,
love
but,
and
like, you
appreciate
didn't
art.
do it.
Yeah, very much so.
It's the thing. Like the Rothkos. The Rothkos are weird. You look at them online and they're like,
Rothkos
what the
are
fuck
god.
is this? And
Yeah,
then you go
I
look
actually
at it in
appreciate them
person, and
now.
you're like, oh wow, like there's a lot.
Well, when you
going
see the texture in the paint and how like it reflects and you see different stuff,
And
like
it's so fucking
you also
big.
need to have that type of like want to appreciate it that way. Like if you go in with a closed mind of like this is fucking stupid, like you're always going to be it that
because
way.
you get in that like. Well, I had the mindset, I guess, at least of like, oh, this is like a field trip to get out of school. This is like a get out of jail free card, not like we're here to like appreciate something significant in our history. It was like,
Well, I think most shit we did in school you didn't appreciate till way later.
no.
I fucking hated history growing up, so I was like, this already happened. Why do we need to learn it? It's like I understand the concept now.
Now
Back
you're like,
then, I
shit.
was like, where's
What-
future?
what
Where's
lesson
future
can I-
class? Like I don't
what
give a fuck about the
lesson can I
past.
already learn?
Where's future class?
I'm an idiot.
But no, we have a question we ask everybody, and the question is, if you had an autobiography, what would it be?
What would the title of it be?
Yeah, what the title be?
If I had an autobiography, what would the title be? Fucking gamer grows up or something? I don't know.
GGU. It's like
Do I need a cool?
Yeah, GG like
do I need
GG
a cool-
University. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
that's
was
what I mean.
GGU. Yeah, I like that.
and then you're gonna make the AI piece for this?
Write ChatGPT and have an autobiography? Is that what you were asking me to do?
No.
So for this season.
The art piece.
The
yeah.
art piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He's the one who
I don't
planted
know.
the seed.
I think I'm probably gonna do an actual like hand piece.
Okay.
Like,
Sick, yeah.
Or like draw it in Illustrator. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. I
we
think
were
that's
talking
like
about-
such a cool model of your show.
non-artists creating art for the show like 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago when we did the first season.
Oh, you guys
And you were like, I want to do that, but I'm not an artist.
Yeah, I collect every grail drop you guys have. Like, I think it's
appreciate
such
it.
an awesome
He's like,
mechanic.
I'm not an artist, but I want to drop art. I was like, fuck it, like let's go.
That's the thing I think has been cool about the space is like just even the fact that like I was able to upload something to OpenSea, and it's
Yeah.
also cool on the flip side that you have like super rare places that like sort of gate like real artists. I think it's like a good thing. Like I don't think I should be able to just go upload my art and like into the fucking the Louvre tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
But the concept of like it's almost like tiers of like art and leveling yourself
think
up.
it's hard for
and
super
it's
rare.
cool that it gives you that like ability to try that.
Yeah, I think it's hard for super rare too because like they get a lot of hate because you have a lot of people who are like, hey, I want to be on super
Yeah.
rare, but like I was talking to someone about it, I don't remember who, and they were like, the only reason the super rare works is because there's people who are mad they're not on super rare, and if everyone was happy about it, then it wouldn't work.
Well, it's kind of losing some of the prestige too because it's become so open.
Yeah.
And it's a tough balance to strike because you want to have an open, inclusive platform on one hand, but then in the other hand, you want to have a more tight curation that has.
We deal with that with like our apparel drops. It's like it's good of the hype of like selling out instantly. It's bad that it's like you have fans who wanted your product but couldn't get it, and then it's like how do you figure out the cost benefit analysis of like where you draw that line
I
with
feel like
everything.
you guys do a good job with the apparel though. Like,
Well, so we have an evergreen collection now, which is like it's called Foundations, but that's always there. And then we've like leveled up our apparel supply over time.
I have like an OG jersey from fucking, I don't know, 2018 or 2019. It's like in a box still.
Love
I just
that.
bought it. It's like,
Seal that and sell it for thousands down the road.
What's your favorite piece of apparel you guys have done?
I'm probably just biased to like our first. This is like the second version of it, but our first cream hoodie. It wasn't like the best material, but it was just like there was 5 of us in a space.
Yeah,
just,
it's
like,
nostalgic,
making it
yeah.
type of thing. It's really cool now because like when I was there, our apparel board was like in the same office that everything was in. It was like one idea of a hoodie we wanted, and now like we have an apparel room that's like probably the size of this whole podcast set, and you go and it's like every drop for like a year and a half mapped out. With,
That's
like,
sick.
The mock-ups, and like we have like 6 like full-time apparel employees. Like we do cut and sew stuff now, so it's really it's been cool to see how it evolved for sure.
what are your favorite apparel companies outside of 100 Thieves?
I like Subi. For me, a lot of it's like around fit because I'm tall, so like finding jeans that are long enough. So Subi, which is KSUBI, and then I like Rag and Bone jeans a lot, but I wear a lot of 100 T shit because I get it for free, and
Yeah. Oh, you got a rep.
I'm not trying to flex. Like, I don't care about wearing a Gucci shirt or something. Like, I'll just wear my 100T one. We did do a 100T Gucci backpack, which is a really cool collab. That'd be like another piece that's special.
It has
Yeah,
some
that's really cool.
crazy compartments on the backpack.
Yeah, it's a wild backpack for sure. But just
A
like
lot of utility. In
Gamers
Doing-
fucking love their merch and shit like that. Though. Like I used to go to like PAX and all those things, and like people love their like crazy backpack with a lot of like they got to carry around the laptop and all that. Like it's so funny. Like gamers are such an interesting group like that.
we're a rare breed.
They fucking love merch. That's, at the end of the day, I think that's really what it is. They fucking love merch.
Well, that's they should love NFTs then, because all these projects do is give them T-shirts and fucking disappear.
Yeah,
There's your merch, baby.
We got to show them Moonbirds. Be like, hey, check it out, fanny pack.
jacket.
That jacket's actually fire. We
Yeah, the
did a
jacket's
drop for our 5-year anniversary. We made 1,000 like varsity jackets like this, or I think maybe 500 of them. But we had a really cool.
So I never thought I
5-year
would
one.
wear a varsity jacket, and like I was like, sure. I mean, I appreciate you guys sending me it. And then when I got it, I put it on.
It's fucking sick.
I like this.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
really dope.
Never would have worn this, but now that it's here, it's like I'm really glad.
Yeah,
I
this
got
is
it.
really nice. This is Forgotten Ruins that did this.
Yeah, they killed it.
Super dope.
Put my name on it.
They're awesome. Shout out to Forgotten Ruins.
They did a good party this week. But yeah, we're at the end. We asked our autobiography question. We can keep going.
I'm pretty good. I'm down to.
Yeah.
I think I'm good too. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
it. It's great to
thank
finally
you.
connect with you.
I
I know
know,
we've talked
likewise.
on Twitter a lot randomly, but
It's
we'll have
always
to link
nice
up
to vibe
more.
with you.
Love
I
you,
know,
baby.
every time
It's
I
great,
know
great
it.
to see you as always, my man.